way it wouldn't.
But I think for the Fox to do it multiple times and to continue to come back, he wants something. He probably wants a nice, comfortable couch, moving in with Charlie.
Yep.
But I really do think you should put the cheeseburger out there.
Well, I'll see if we can do that. We'll put a cheeseburger out. I'll go get a cheeseburger. I'll just put it out, and maybe we'll get a Fox on a doorbell.
Yeah, or a piece of pizza. He probably would have, because the bite circumference, he might have a hard time getting a hold of one of those hamburger heaven.
I think I'm finally to the bottom of it. I'd forgotten the fish head was out there until I saw the Fox last night sitting on the front porch. And I was like, that's where that fish head came from. It was not from the Mafia. It was from Red Fox.
Dude, this flew by today.
What, the show?
Yeah.
You never thought we were going to talk about it.
We start with food poisoning, we end with foxes.
A fox and a fish head. That is going to do it for the show. Thank you very much, Buster Olney, for joining us. Hopefully Dunaway back with us tomorrow. A Friday show that will include Tom Luginbill, Todd Furhman, and Rockstar in the lounge. Those appearances are fading quickly, Rockstar. We're closer and closer to football.
Floribama's not, though.
Floribama is not. They'll be with us tomorrow on the lounge. Football, exhibition style, 1 week from tonight. That is it for the next round. Have yourself a great afternoon. Pinnock Race coming up 12:15. All of our shows on all of our formats. War Down Pods, Roll Tide Pods with Elephant in the Room and Village Vice. Don't forget the Meltdown coming up later on this afternoon. You can catch all of that on all of our platforms. Thank you for joining us on the next round.
It's time to pull the trigger on the Next Round merch that you've been eyeing. We know there's a lot to choose from at nextround.store, so here's a few of our favorite picks. If you want to match LT and Brown, go with a TNR logo hoodie and throw in one of Dunaway's favorite hats. Any of them will do. The Backroom's go-to is the classic logo t-shirt, while my personal favorite is the light blue TNR crew neck. All of these items can be found at nextround.store and are EG approved. Rest assured, your order will be packed with lots of love from us here at the Next Round. Head over to nextround.store to start filling up your cart.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live will share the latest interviews and videos from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and campuses all over the college landscape. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Live daily show. Jim, Lance, and Ryan will share their thoughts, and remember, you can always see the old shows on the Next Round Live YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and don't forget to comment. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. It's Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
You've been wearing that thin, raggedy t-shirt for years now, and people cannot stop whispering and staring in your vicinity. We've all been there. Luckily, there's a solution to your lack of fashion and social cues. At nextround.store, they have plenty of options when it comes to a variety of shirts and hats. Once you start putting that Next Round gear on, be prepared to make new lifelong friends and hundreds of unforgettable conversations. Hope you like random high fives in the street, because that's what you're getting after visiting nextround.store.
Just because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
You never know what we're up to here at the Next Round. The easiest way to stay in the know with our antics and adventures is to follow the Next Round across all social media platforms at Next Round Live on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Whether it's Dunaway sleeping in the studio, Tim and Lunceford breaking down the latest movie release, or Game Day Chronicles, we are here to keep you updated on the latest sports news while, of course, having just a little bit of fun. Follow at Next Round Live across all platforms to join in.
The Double Down Media podcast family is live and full of content for all ages. The Mystery Fifth Hour gives the Next Round host a chance to talk about everything but sports. Pour a glass of Bama and bourbon, our weekly college football conversation, while sipping on some of the most interesting pours in the bourbon world. And in our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, LT takes off the gloves for in-depth conversations with stars like Taylor Hicks, presented by Redmont Vodka. Find these podcasts and more by searching The Next Round on Apple, Spotify, and on our website, nextroundlive.com.
When on YouTube, you constantly hear requests to please like and subscribe. Well, here at Disrupt Media, we aren't going to play that game. Those demands are frankly outdated. So we just want you to hit like or subscribe. It's like a choose-your-own-adventure novel. Pick a path, hit like, or hit subscribe. It's your call. We don't care which, just pick one. Or go to Roll Tide Pods and do it. Or War Damn Pods. Or the Disrupt Media YouTube channel. or the meltdown? Just make a decision and stick with it. Like or subscribe. The choice is yours.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We start a Friday. It's going to be kind of a weird show. I like weird shows, though. Like, one of our guests was legitimately excited about another one of our guests. Which I don't, I'm the one that communicates primarily with the guests. Doesn't normally happen. Like, wait a minute, have this guy on?
So do they actually know who the guest is, or do they know fictionally who the guest is?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay.
So once Little T sent out the guest lineup, Luginbill texted me. It was like, David Koechner. I'm after him. Ask him these questions. Luginbill's like, shoot me questions to ask David Koechner.
Yeah, Koechner is going to be really interesting if you're a fan of The Office, which I never watched The Office live, and I'll fully admit that to David. My kids are the one that got me into it, 3-4 years ago when it seemed like every teenager was watching The Office. Pretty good character, though, and Todd Packer.
He's that's a funny character. It is like, it's the guy
aggressive.
Yeah, he's a little aggressive, does not care what you think about him. Makes any joke about anybody, right?
Politically incorrect.
Incorrect. It's an amazing character. And the one thing,
I don't know how well he would do up here.
Oh, no. Or anywhere, in any corporate environment. One thing I love about The Office is they don't when they've got good characters like that, they don't just overuse them. How many episodes would you guess he was in?
Not a lot.
Maybe 6 or 7?
Yeah, not even that.
Yeah, that's like one of the best characters on the entire show is Creed, and they barely use him just because they know that, right? That's where I credit
What was
the
so
writers.
funny is a lot of those actors, if you didn't watch The Office, you don't know who they are. And I just remember watching the credits run, and almost all of them go by their names. Like Creed is really Creed in real life.
Mm-hmm. Which is weird, yeah.
And then because a lot of those guys were writers, and they said the people in the back, like Ryan, what is the other girl's name?
Kelly Kapoor,
Toby.
Yeah.
And those were all writers of the show, so they said they have him in the back of the office like that because they're literally writing during the filming too. So
wow,
because it was
that's pretty cool.
Because they're in front of computers, act like you're on a computer. If you're not in these scenes, just work.
To be able to do that comedy without any vulgarities is pretty amazing.
Yeah,
because you still, even with my really dark sense of humor, there were laugh out loud moments.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But if you took that to Netflix and you did a real office work environment like that and took it up it would be the difference in Seinfeld to Curb.
Yeah. Obviously he was on The Anchorman as well. This guy, and I am told, though I haven't seen the work on this, an improv comedy legend. So we'll talk with him. Yeah. I haven't seen him. I'm just
SNL, Second City. He's got a great resume, so it's going to be a lot of fun to get into it with David. I got to be honest, I did not like Anchorman at all. I know I'm in the minority here. I did not like it, though.
You're going to let him know that?
Yeah. Look, Thank You for Smoking is an incredible movie that he had a really good part in. 40-Year-Old Virgin. He's been in some really good stuff. There's just some stuff that, again, I think I'm in the minority. I just didn't like Anchorman. Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. It's not like I watched it one time and
I thought it was okay. I did not see the second one.
I laughed. It wasn't like my favorite movie of all time, but it gave me some laughs.
Charles, Anchorman grows on you. I ain't watching it the second time. That's the problem.
Well, Forrester says Anchorman 2 sucked, Rockstar, so you don't have to watch that one.
Well, the only thing is you see it on reels and stuff like that. The bloopers are where it's at with him and Paul Rudd, where they're trying to ad-lib each other and just make each other laugh. That's the best part. I don't want to see the movie, though.
Yeah. The funny thing about Paul Rudd is, what was he, the sexiest man alive in 22 or 23?
Ant-Man.
But when you look back at 40-Year-Old Virgin and Anchorman, he almost looks too young.
Clueless?
You go to Clueless. Clueless, he's playing like a 20-something, and he looks like a teenager.
Well, he'll be with us in studio, right? He's in studio?
Yeah, he's going to be in studio around 10:30ish.
Yeah,
he's doing the media tour. He's going to be at the Comedy Club Stardome all weekend long. We'll give you more information on that. 444-0008, stardome.com for more information. But he is supposed to be, as much as you might like his work in film or television, he is supposed to be much better even than that on the stage.
Okay.
That's what I hear.
All right. So we'll discuss, we'll talk with him about all of that coming up at 10:30. Luginbill, as I mentioned, at 11, and Todd Furhman back on the show at 10. He's had a few weeks off. He will be back with us at 10, so we'll go out to the desert and talk with Furhman. We start the show with news that I was just telling Forrester. It seems like weekly we discuss this. Georgia has had a football player arrested. This time, it is not a driving incident. I consider this one far more serious than a driving incident. Ra Thomas, the Mississippi State transfer that a lot of people think was going to contribute heavily to this Georgia passing attack, has now been arrested for a second time on family violence issues. He was arrested at 3:20 a.m. This morning. He is a Eufaula native. All of this coming from Dogs HQ, part of On3, who reported this first. It's about to be his second season at Georgia after transferring from Mississippi State. The charges are very serious sounding. I don't have any details, though. Second-degree cruelty to children is a felony. He is also charged with 2 counts of battery, both misdemeanors. This is made even more serious when you find out that this is the second time he has been arrested for this, less than a month after enrolling, so about a year ago. Thomas was arrested around the same time of day as they report for a misdemeanor count of family violence and felony account of false imprisonment.
Yeah, this is what really Kirby's going to get popped with. Because I didn't even realize that Ra was arrested in early 2023.
Charges were dismissed. To be entirely fair to him, they were dismissed.
They were.
Yep.
But now this will come back up. And if you're a Georgia fan, you're like, okay, somebody got arrested and it wasn't behind the wheel. And then you see this. And you see second-degree cruelty to children, and I'm right there with you. I don't know the entire story. We're just seeing this kind of outline. But, man, I mean, it just doesn't stop with Georgia, does it?
It does not. I mean, it's just one after another, and I don't know what to make of it, really. I mean, you know, I see the reaction on social media as the story is broken this morning. Georgia's got a culture problem. Maybe they do. It just seems like, Lance... And we saw this at Alabama. Let's don't pretend like players at Alabama didn't get arrested.
Yeah, I don't think it was just. This reminds me more, and I don't want to compare Florida yet, because Florida had a mass murderer. I don't want to call him mass.
It just
borderline serial killer in Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that he was that at Florida. He was certainly that in New England.
I mean, he notched more than one.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously the seeds were there at Florida. You would have to imagine.
You know what's crazy when you have a culture like this, and these are different scenarios, but from what you had with Urban Meyer in Florida, Art Briles in Waco, and what you've got right now in Athens, I mean, the correlation, not good off the field, but all of those programs win at a high level.
But it feels like once you start winning at a higher level, you see more of this. Like, I don't feel like I see this amount of stories on crappy teams. Is it just that there's more attention on Georgia because they're winning, or is there some direct proportion to sustained success and trouble off the field?
Well, a couple of things. Okay, so go back last year, Northwestern, about this time last year, Pat Fitzgerald was fired. It was a different scenario, hazing, but the culture supposedly wasn't good. And then David Braun takes over, and it's one of the more incredible stories that nobody talked about in the 2023 season.
Nobody paid attention.
I do think, and again, throwing all this together, Ollie Gordon getting arrested and then being taken to Big 12 Media Days in Las Vegas. And Mike Gundy basically saying, this guy, his punishment is going to be to play more. We're going to give him 40 carries. We live in a society now, in the culture of college football, where the athletes are really running the program.
They are.
Because I don't know what you can do. Like, if you suspend this, I mean, again, Thomas was arrested. You said all the charges were dropped in 2023. But still, that was something Georgia knew. So they bring him in for Mississippi State. Now, if Georgia was to release or to tell Ra, you know what, walk, or hey, we're going to suspend you for 4 games, Ra could walk then, and I guarantee he'd find a landing spot.
Well, now, in his situation, the legal system may take care of this.
Well, you're right about that.
I don't know how all this is going to play out, but you're right. I mean,
and again, I don't want to call the guy guilty.
No.
But we do live in a society where you are now guilty until proven innocent because these stories come out. It's going to be a huge talking point. I can't even imagine sports talk this morning in the Atlanta area. Because you know Kirby, as much success as he's had and favored to win another national championship this year, he's getting crushed right now.
Yeah. I mean, it is just, like I said to Scott, doesn't it feel like it's every week we're doing this type of story?
Yeah, I had a buddy of mine in Denver that shout out Scott Banks that listens to the show, and he sent me one of these memes on Georgia drivers. And it's funny, but it's not funny. But it's become so common, and now the charges have gotten worse. Like, If you had last night, one of his players got a public intox citation, you'd be like, okay, well, at least he wasn't driving.
Yep. No, that's true. Yeah, he didn't get behind a wheel.
Yeah, but we're stepping up to felonious behavior.
Well, that was what Scott and I were talking about. Scott said, well, at least this time it's not, a driving issue. And I was like, I kind of wish it was. This one sounds a lot worse, right? This is a step up from a driving issue.
And I don't know what that is. I mean, is second-degree cruelty to a kid now, is that getting out a belt? I really
have no clue.
Yeah. This is where we need to get Tommy Speen out of the sheets.
Tommy's asleep, he'll let us know. Second-degree cruelty to children, which is a felony. And 2 counts of battery, both misdemeanors. That's what Ra Thomas was arrested for.
So Bobby's saying Wimp warned us about this. I remember Wimp saying this is a bad idea to actually pay players. And I remember him talking about the chaos of roster management. Right. I don't remember. And Wimp could have said this. Remind me, did he?
Oh, I'm sure Wimp was against it. Wimp's old
I know he was
school
against
enough.
it, but I'm just saying, did he say...
Well, chaos of roster management, not that it's going to lead to more arrests, I don't think is what Wimp was saying. I just think the chaos of roster management, which is what you just brought up, is, if you get a player in trouble and you say, listen, it's my way or that. I think it was Jay Billis that said, it might have been a coach, I can't remember, that said, used to a coach could say it's my way or the highway because the highway didn't really exist. It was only in theory, right?
Right, yeah.
Now the highway exists. It's my way or the highway, and I can get on the highway at any time I want, and there's no traffic.
Yeah, and you and I agree, and I think most of us have agreed. Look, compensate the players, that's great. But what I don't like, I like guys that are able to rule with an iron fist, like Kirby and Nick Saban, and they make the program their own, and they have success, not only because of that, but because they're able to go out and get this great talent. But if you're able to go out and get the great talent and let them run wild, that is a massive problem.
It is.
And it changes the whole dynamic of college football.
Yep. And it's clearly a problem at Georgia. I mean, you call it a culture problem or whatever, I don't know. But I see more stories about Georgia players getting arrested than any other school in America. Is it because they're under a bigger microscope, because they win all the time? I do not know. But I see it about more about them than any school in America. Yeah. And we do this every single day. And we keep up with this kind of thing. And I don't think anybody can deny that. Even if you're the most ardent Georgia fan, you have to admit, at least it gets reported about your school more than any other school in America. Whether your school leads an arrest or not, I don't know. Your school's in the news more than anybody else for getting players arrested.
Look, and the sad truth is you would rather go 15-0 and have a bunch of guys arrested than go 8-4 and have nobody arrested. I mean, would you agree? Like, Georgia fans are sitting out there right now, and you would rather have squeaky clean program and go 15-0.
Sure, everybody wants that.
But if you had the option of you can be 8-4 and nobody's going to ever get arrested, or you can be 15-0 and it's the Wild West, I think the majority of fans would take the Wild West.
Yeah, I think you're probably right about that. I mean, most people just want to win. That's really all they want, is they want to win.
I just want guys buying in. Sure, they're getting paid, but do it the right way. And what I don't think they're realizing is, well, talent's going to outweigh everything outside of Trevor Bauer, but these guys cost themselves money at the next level. Like, you're really not in charge at the next level. Like, you are,
like when you're an NFL coach? Yeah. Oh, no.
No, I'm talking about when you're an NFL player.
Oh, if you're an
like
NFL
you're
player.
Under contract,
yeah.
and these guys will release you.
Yeah. But that's the one place where the player, I mean, if it comes down to quarterback or coach, they're almost always going to go quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of times where the player is on level footing with the coach, which it never felt like in college. A lot to get to today. CPAP Plus bringing us part of the show today, and we got a ton of college and NFL to get to, including some coaches. We're going to hear from some coaches at Big Ten Media Day in the next segment who had some interesting things to say.
I have been just bombarding our boy Josh Ush and using him and his testimonial for CPAP Plus. But I talked to him again yesterday. He was in for another edition of the Pennant Grace, and he was like, hey, man, not only are those guys awesome, my equipment is the best equipment I've ever had. This guy is raving about it because he was having problems with insurance. He was having problems with his doctor connecting with his insurance, getting everything paid for, went to CPAP Plus. They knocked it out. They made phone calls for him. Insurance covered absolutely everything. If you're in the market for CPAP, if you've thought about it before, if you're having problems sleeping, go see these guys. With over 200 5-star reviews on Google, the folks at CPAP Plus are CPAP users themselves, so the people helping you know what it's like and are ready to help. They've got masking supplies in stock every day. If you need it today, guess what? They've got it today. Visit any of those 3 locations today. Pelham, Highway 280, now open and trustful. Sign up for their July giveaway for a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or come into one of those 3 convenient locations. Make sure you tell the O'Neill brothers the Next Round sent you.
I think we are now 2 for 2. Camps have opened this week, and now 2 straight shows. There has been a member of a team that is represented in our group here out for the season. You started the trend yesterday.
With Darion Kendrick. And it was confirmed it is a torn ACL. He's going to go undergo surgery next week or in 2 weeks, more than likely, unfortunately, done for the season.
Yeah, starting corner, probably for the Rams. Rockstar, you're in the barrel today. Your kicker, Michael Badgley, tore his hamstring. He's out for the season. Well, you don't see a kicker with a season-ending injury in camp very often.
What did he do?
I don't know. He tore his hamstring.
He didn't stretch.
No.
Can you imagine how bad that would? If you tear the hamstring bad enough that you're already ruled out for the season,
I know.
How significant is that tear? But the good news is here, not the good news. But now you've got plenty of time to find a kicker.
Is Jason Hansen still available?
He could probably still do it.
It's 40 years.
I know.
I mean, then that could be the problem is, like, can you find a reliable kicker?
Yeah.
But would you rather lose your starting cornerback or your starting kicker? And I'm talking about Badgley, who's good, but he's not Justin Tucker.
If I've got Justin Tucker, I'd sacrifice a corner for him.
So you'd rather give up Marlon Humphrey?
Oof, you didn't put it that way now. I didn't know I was sacrificing maybe the best
I don't know.
corner in the
All
NFL.
I'm saying is I would feel better. I know you've got more corner depth than you have kicker depth on a team, but I would feel better about going out and finding the kicker. I'd still make it amazes me. We talk about how great quarterback play is in the NFL now. Not everybody can find great kickers. And you would think that you could have 32 elite kickers when that's all they do throughout high school and college.
Yeah. I mean, you would think, that's what I couldn't figure out, Rockstar, how he tore his hamstring, because I view kickers in camps over on some side field somewhere just hammering field goals all day until it's time to run kickoff. And then they're like, somebody go get Badgley. We got to run kickoff. So Badgley comes trotting over, and he kicks it, and he just stands there and watches them cover.
Yeah.
I don't know how he'd tear a hamstring.
Yeah, a little hacky sack in the corner, checking his text.
Just watching TV on his phone.
No, I swear, Del Greco says he doesn't remember this, but I swear, I thought it was in the Super Bowl at the Georgia Dome where they had to.
That was Super Bowl 34. By the way, his first field goal attempt blocked by Todd Light.
And I bet Al does remember that part. But no, I swear one time I thought I remembered a story of him at the Super Bowl in the Georgia Dome, and he was over on the sidelines chipping golf balls. And some of the stadium staff asked that he not chip off the AstroTurf. I swear, I remember that story vividly, being told.
Has any of Asbury asked you not to chip off their pitch?
No, man, I chip all the time out there when soccer practice is going on. But I brought that up to Del Greco, and he's like, I don't remember that at all. And I'm like, Al, I swear, I think I saw it on SportsCenter. I think it was Ed Werder.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, I 100% remember. That would be hard to make up, wouldn't it?
It would be. I remember being on cloud nine, and much like this week is nothing but a monsoon, then it was a freeze in Atlanta that entire week.
Oh, yeah. It was bad weather, wasn't it? No, it wasn't as bad as...
I'll tell you how bad it was. Well, first of all, the tickets dropped like a rock.
Right, which
and
was
I
good
remember
for you.
meeting Steve Soucy of ATIX fame. I remember meeting him at the Hard Rock restaurant in downtown Atlanta to get my tickets. But the day before, the weather was so bad. That's when I used to really pull for Carolina basketball. It's when Julius Peppers was on the roster. They were playing Georgia Tech's campus, and it was so bad they opened up. Admission was free. If you could get to the game, and it was general admission. Like, we went and sat mid-court.
North Carolina, Georgia Tech.
North Carolina, Georgia Tech on the Saturday before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Think about how many people are in town, sports fans, that just would want to see that Carolina brand. And we were able to sit like 5 rows up mid-court, and there was probably 300 people in there.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it was like an open scrimmage.
Yeah, so you heard everything.
Yeah, but, really, sidewalks were frozen over. The only thing that was really going on was Super Bowl parties in Buckhead, and then ultimately the Cobalt Lounge, where guy got unfortunately gutted the next night.
Yeah, that was a bad memory. But Del Greco does not remember chipping on the side. But when I think of kickers in the NFL, that's what I think of. Is they kick and then they go, practice their short game. I don't know how you tear an ACL or how you tear a hamstring if you're a kicker.
Hey, Craig's right though. That was when Derek Thomas, because I've got Tony Grillo. You remember Tony Grillo?
I do.
Tony used to work with us. His uncle actually worked at the Birmingham News, but Tony was a sales guy up at Jocks. And I remember this was such a kind gesture. But after the Rams won Super Bowl 34, he framed the front page of the Birmingham News And then he framed the second page of all of the stories in the Super Bowl. But on the front page and the bottom, it was Super Bowl champs and all through the stories. And there was an article on Ray Rhodes that Kevin Skarbinski had done in his column.
Right.
But on the bottom was Sheriff wants Thomas charged in wreck, because it was reckless driving. And remember, he got thrown from his vehicle, ultimately paralyzed, and ultimately died from pneumonia. Terrible story there. One of the greatest players in Alabama history, one of the greatest players, pass rushers in NFL history. But yeah, that was a couple of days before the Super Bowl. He's heading to the Super Bowl and got in that wreck.
Do you still have that framed somewhere?
Oh, yeah. So I just started doing a Rams pod, but I've got it framed in the back of that, so you might be able to zoom in it and check it out.
The old Scarbo column back in the day for the Super Bowl.
Pretty crazy. Scarbo had hair.
Woodhouse Day Spa bringing you part of the show, and then we'll hear what some of these Big Ten coaches are saying. You're about to hear in the next segment from Dan Lanning what the Big Ten should know about Oregon. Sharon Moore, how close is this team to last year's team? And then a guy almost nobody's talking about, Jedd Fisch, the Washington coach. We'll hear what he says.
Maybe there's a reason nobody is talking about him. I talked to our friend Stuart at the Woodhouse Day Spa yesterday. Really excited about football season, because here's the deal. You're going to be watching games all day, Saturday and Sunday, either leading up to that weekend or during the weekend. Treat that special someone to the gift of luxury from Birmingham's best day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa, located at the Summit Shopping Centers. Wife or girlfriend, you get her that gift card. She can choose from a menu of over 70 options, including massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. Order wife or girlfriend that special gift online. You can watch football all day. She is not going to care if she's at the Woodhouse Day Spa. You can order right now, birmingham.woodhousespas.com. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you.
It is the Next Round presented by Bud Light from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studio. Washington, Oregon, Michigan, and Dabo Swinney is upset about something again. That's all coming up on the Next Round.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at jimdunaway.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Spring weather is here, and our friends at Hemphill Services are offering a $69 HVAC tune-up plus 10% off any service call when you mention the Next Round. Call Adam, Chad, and the guys at Hemphill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit is ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemphill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models. For all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, call Hemphill Services. It's hard to stop a train. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com. That's 205-229-2090, hemphillservices.com. Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or michelson.laservision.com.
Our friends at Longye's Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Longye's offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Longye's offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Longye's sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Longye's has to offer you.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
All right, Todd Furhman coming up in about half an hour. Also, David Koechner from The Office and Anchorman fame. A lot of people are saying, is he coming as Todd Packer or Champ Kind? I think he's coming as David Koechner. But we'll talk to him about both those characters. Tom Luginbill in the last hour, Rockstar in the Floribama Lounge. He's been playing Jimmy Buffett. I don't suppose that's what you're going to play today, though. Am I wrong?
No, I am not doing Jimmy Buffett. I'm trying to take a break.
Thank you, Rockstar.
Yeah. I don't want to get everybody to cry today.
Yes. How many? You've done 2 shows of Buffett now?
We've done 3.
3?
And we got a 4th on September 1st, the Sunday before Labor Day.
Yeah.
We're at Lake Martin doing changes in latitudes, changes in attitude.
That's an outdoor concert, I
Has
presume.
it changed your attitude?
Or latitude?
About him,
Yeah.
I respect him a little more. I was not a big fan. Like, I was one of those, because the ones I knew were Cheeseburger in Paradise and stuff like that. But there are some good songs that he, like, Come Monday is a pretty song. He Went to Paris is a pretty song. Like,
Come Monday is the only song that I ever liked. Did you realize that Jimmy Buffett's in one of the Jurassic Parks?
Yes. I remember he's in the first one, right?
No.
He's running on the beach with a drink or something
that. It's funny because I had this conversation randomly walking through Walmart, but talking about how can Jurassic Park in 1993 be so good, and with the technology they've got now, all the Jurassic Parks suck. But the only one I've seen with the Jurassic World was the first one with Dallas Bryce Howard and Chris Pratt. And that's when they had the pterodactyls. But it's the scene, he's got a margarita in each hand. And I saw it on something went on social media a couple of days ago. Jimmy Buffett made the best of his Jurassic Park cameo, and it's got him running with 2 margaritas and the pterodactyls coming over the head. I didn't realize Jimmy Buffett was in it until I saw that.
So he's an actor, too. He's a writer today. The guy knew how to print money.
Got thrown out of an NBA game. Remember the Knicks and the Heat?
I do. He knew how to print money.
Oh, yeah, there it is. You know, and it's a frozen margarita wouldn't shake as much, but those are on the rocks, and those are in those margarita glasses where it sloshes.
I like that.
Like you just put it on the counter and that thing sloshes
up. You're being
up.
Chased by a dinosaur, but you got to hold.
That's right. I am not giving up the margs.
I just paid for these.
I am not giving up the margs. That's for sure.
Oh man, at Jurassic, well, first of all, you can't get margs at Disney World. You can at Epcot,
right?
Because I did the around the world, which is one of the more fun things to do. Jump to every country and have a different cocktail with their culture. But a margarita in Epcot's like $25. Can you imagine if you went to a Jurassic Park where you got to see dinosaurs? That'd be a $100 margarita.
Have you ever gone inside the like the Aztec structure in Mexico at Epcot?
I don't know. I've been on the Viking ship.
I've been to Epcot 4 or 5 times.
It's my favorite part of Disney.
I do love Epcot, but just this most recent trip, Jennifer booked we were back there in spring break. She booked a dinner at a Mexican restaurant inside that. I bet Lunceford's been in there at Epcot. Lunceford, have you been inside, though? I don't know.
Not only have I been in there, but they have a large margarita menu you can purchase in there.
That's right.
Okay, so what do they charge? I was guessing $25 for a marg. Is that about right?
Their signature margarita is $24.
Dead on. So what do you think it would be at Jurassic Park? It would at least double, right?
Yeah, but Lunceford, that's a really cool area in there, and I just had never been up in there. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff in there.
It's okay.
Okay. What's your
the Disney snob?
I'm telling you. What's your favorite country at Epcot?
Norway.
My favorite food
Azerbaijan.
My favorite food is Canada.
Have you eaten at that steakhouse in Canada? People swear by that place.
That is by far the best place to eat at Disney World.
I've heard that.
I'll tell you, the Mexican joint is garbage.
Which one?
No, I'm just talking about their little restaurant out on the patio.
Oh, yeah, but there's one inside.
There's one inside. It's not much better.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's not much better.
Yeah,
boy, I mean, Lunceford in the last week
Mexico.
is going from positive Lunceford, just crushing things. He's almost becoming the guy to our left that usually sits here, Mr. Negativity.
I prefer to say honest Lunceford.
Honest Lunceford.
Yeah, honest Lunceford.
What
is the most overrated ride in Disney World, and what is the most underrated ride?
Oh God, I got to think about that.
Okay. Didn't know it would be that complicated of a question.
It knows Disney Grilling Day.
Is the haunted house good?
Haunted Mansion's pretty good.
Okay,
Yeah,
I mean,
like
I've been
Haunted
to it.
Mansion. You know what I like about Haunted Mansion? It's dark and cold.
Cold, yeah.
Yes.
And you can really kick back for 15,
right.
20 minutes.
It's a good long ride, and it's dark
Does
and cold.
Cinderella really sit with you and eat pancakes?
Hydra Live bringing you part of the show. Then we'll hear from Big Ten.
Hey, weekend is here. Make sure you stay hydrated. Look, locations all over the place for Hydra Live. 2 in Birmingham, 1 in Tuscaloosa, Homewood, Highway 119 in Greystone. Make sure you mention the next round. Very important there. You're going to get 20% off any of these great services. IV therapy, B12 injections, cryotherapy, compression therapy, all under one roof. IV therapy treatments are packed with nutrients to increase energy, reduce stress and anxiety, boost your immune system, and much more. Ask about memberships. You basically recoup that IV membership in just one visit. Hydra Live Therapy open 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. For more information, hydralivetherapy.com.
All right, so would you call Dan Lanning the most confident coach in college football?
One of them. And I think I said this week. If he ever wins a national championship, watch out.
Yeah,
he's got a chance to do it.
There is a fine line between confidence and cocky. I don't know. I think he probably crosses a little bit into cocky, and I like Dan Lanning.
I do too. And, the more you talk to people that really know Dan Lanning, whether it was from the Alabama staff or guys that knew him from Georgia, they all swear by him.
Yeah.
And they're like, this dude, he is going to be the West Coast version of Kirby Smart.
Now, there have been some big game coaching moments that you question, right?
Yeah, I mean, you go back, really the ones that jump out are his, head-to-heads with Kalen DeBoer, which is really interesting. But those 3 games against Washington, the first 2 were extremely tight, and there were some questionable decisions, especially Lanning's first year. But you go back to Kirby Smart's first year at 8-5.
Yep. Yeah, it happens to almost any coach. He's at Big Ten Media Days, though, this past week. The very confident Dan Lanning asked, what should the Big Ten know about Oregon? Here is his answer.
Ultimately, what should the Big Ten know about Oregon? That we're mighty different. Mighty different in a lot of ways. You look out there in the pond, you'll see a big old duck. I'm hoping we get to travel that duck to all of our away games this year. Right? We're mighty different when it comes to the jerseys you might see us wear or the facilities that we get to be in, and we're innovative. And we've always been on the cutting edge of everything we do. We're certainly positioning ourselves to be in the cutting edge, and we're grateful for the opportunity to compete in the Big Ten. Excited about this opportunity in front of us, and excited to see what this team does. It's a brand new team. It's not the same new team as last year. On our team right now, there's 10 players that were on this team when I first got here, so you're talking about a new group. And these guys have completely bought in. Excited to see them perform. I know they're anxious to get on the field, but there's a lot of work between now and then before we do that.
Okay, hang on real quick. I got to hear this from Scott. Can I get Scott's mic? Scott in the mybookie.ag chat room says this feels very Chiswick. Why does Dan Lanning feel very Chiswick to you, Scott?
Just the slogan thing, mighty different. Hold the rope with Chiswick and all that stuff.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I don't see it. If this guy had a Cam Newton, watch out. I mean, watch out. I think with Dylan Gabriel this year, like if they won the national championship, wouldn't surprise me. I will say about, and I do believe behind the scenes he's like, guys, these guys are so arrogant in the Big Ten. Let's go in and kick them right in the junk. Let's dominate this league from day one. But if he was to drag that duck around, and this is an SEC schedule, that duck would get shot.
That was my takeaway. Is they want to take the duck to every road game. I got to pull up their schedule.
I've got it right here.
Right.
And the only Oregon State, I know that's going to be kind of nasty in September. Oregon State had opportunities to gut that duck before. That's not going to happen.
Yep.
At UCLA, at Purdue, at Michigan. Michigan fans are too nice, and they seem to kind of sit on their hands. At Wisconsin, I don't know how nice they are in Madison, but if you drag that up on an ice pond, if they are SEC-like, that duck will not make it back to Eugene.
Yeah, I mean, that duck would definitely not survive a trip to Baton Rouge. Like, if this were an SEC program, we're going to take the duck everywhere, and it's out, in the Mississippi, gone.
Do you remember as a kid when you would burn the Army men and you would start a fire and you'd just throw, different things on it? And anytime you burn plastic, you get that black chemical. That's what you would see in Baton Rouge. That duck would be, you would have black smoke coming up.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're going to physically do that on every road trip. I will say, though, in all seriousness, I don't know that there's a game I'm anticipating more this season than Ohio State, Oregon.
I would agree.
I mean, Texas, Georgia is going to be interesting. Alabama, Georgia is going to be interesting. There are a lot of good games. But Ohio State, Oregon, there's none that are in front of that for me.
Well, I think you can guarantee the winner of that game is going to get a bye. I think both of those teams, I would be shocked if both of those teams are not in the college football playoff, but the winner of that game will get a bye.
Well, that is a big duck. Look at that canoe down there.
Oh, it's gigantic.
I mean, I saw the photo of it outside that bridge or next to that bridge, and you could tell it was big. But, man, when you see that canoe next to it, that is a massive. There's no way they're taking that everywhere they go.
But I mean, a 22.
How do you travel that thing?
One 22 shot, that thing's gone.
You think Southwest is like, sir, this duck guy, it's a little overweight?
Again, Oregon has so much. They got the FU money. They flex. This is one of those flexes. They probably have their own truck just for the Duck.
God, what a waste of money if they take that on every road trip. All right, here's Washington coach Jedd Fisch. Lance says maybe there's a reason nobody's talking about Jedd Fisch. As I look at this, he's dressed like he's the keynote speaker at a Pentecostal holiness convention. It looks very evangelist to me in that suit.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That's more lilac. I would have gone with a more of a purple that popped.
Yeah, it's not exactly Washington purple. So aside from his suit,
where do you bank? Old National Bank.
Old National Bank, not the new National Bank. Nope, Old National Bank. Jedd Fisch, he's there to win championships, as he says Washington has done before. It's been a minute, but they have won a national championship.
This group came here to University of Washington because we believe in Husky football. We believe that we have a chance and an opportunity to win championships like we have in the past. This is a program that's won 2 national championships. It's a program that's won 18 conference championships. And this is a program that we believe will continue on that track.
Not this year.
I'd bet against it, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at teams that are coming in, and I understand they're 25-3 over the last couple of years, but Kalen DeBoer's gone, Michael Penix is gone.
Yeah.
Odunze, I mean, some really, really good players. They've got to replace 21 of 22 starters. And I forgot who it was the other day that was talking about, well, Alabama's got all these new players coming in. They've got 42 transfer players coming in. But when you've got to replace 21 of 22,
yeah.
I just, and you're making the transition to a new league and a new head coach and new systems, I just don't see a ton of success. I think they're going to be a tough out. We'll beat somebody they shouldn't. They probably have enough talent to still win 7, maybe 8 games, but it's going to be a far cry from the Washington team we saw that last year played for the national championship.
The MyBookie.ag, can you go back to him, Rockstar, real quick? Just back one. The MyBookie.ag chat room is saying Alexander Shinara.
Yeah, I see it a little bit.
Yeah.
I could see Gus Malzahn and Alexander Shinara had a kid.
Yes, Lance, that is it. Gus and Alexander Shinara had a kid. Call me, Alabama.
You ever see him on a billboard?
Let me tell you what. I was downtown last night, and I was coming back.
Does he still have the big one up top?
Oh, no, I don't know. I didn't look up there, but there's 2 electronic billboards right off Red Mountain Expressway. And this is actually really creative. I will credit his creative team for this. Do you know the Chick-fil-A billboards where the cows are painting?
Yeah.
There's a billboard now.
They say eat more chicken?
No, it says call me Alabama, and it looks it's dripping paint, and like there's a figure of him holding the roller like he's just painted it instead of the cow. I mean, it's actually a really creative billboard.
So it was SEC Media Days. No, it wasn't. I forgot. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. He randomly called me when he used to advertise with us on Jocks. And he said, hey, look, I know you guys are doing this bracket challenge. Can you involve us?
Of
and
course.
I was like, in what capacity? And he was like, well, maybe the loser sleeps on a billboard for a while. And I was like, I feel pretty good that I can get in front of one of the two. But if I have one of those off years, which I did 2 years ago, I don't want to be up on a billboard. Would you want to sleep on a billboard for a couple of days?
I absolutely would not. I have a fear of heights. I do not want to sleep outside. There are a lot of things going against that one for me. Yeah, a lot of stances I have. That
and we've got what you call extreme climate conditions here in Birmingham.
We do. Yep, and that could get really hot.
Bitch.
Huh?
This week would have been a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
But I would rather deal with this
all the
outside
time.
of the lightning. Lightning scares me more than anything. Lightning and tornadoes now. But if you just had this steady rain, I would rather deal with that than be on, say, a billboard in that Dallas heat we were in last week.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Just get you a good rain parka.
Yep. And
hunker down.
Ride it out. All right, you could argue that this next coach is under more pressure than any coach in America.
I don't think this year, though. I think Kalen DeBoer is under much more pressure than Sherrone Moore.
Following up Nick Saban rather than Sherrone Moore, following up Jim Harbaugh.
And you'll give me that it does benefit him that they just went 15-0 and won a national championship. So if you're a Michigan fan, hey, we finally got the first national championship since 1997. This one was outright. It was 15-0. You've owned Ohio State.
Yeah.
So I think he gets a little bit of a cushion.
I think, and Ross in the MyBookie.ag chat room says Napier's number 1 on the pressure list. That's more hot list to me. I guess they go hand in hand.
4-1 to get fired right now.
Yeah.
Shortest odds of any college football head coach.
That is hot seat. I'm just saying pressure like Sherrone Moore, he's not going to get fired, but 9-3 would probably be a pretty good season for them. And you're going to have a lot of Michigan fans like, 9-3, huh? And you guy went 9-3.
I don't think 9-3 gets you in. It
don't think
could
so.
in the Big Ten, but when you look at the difficult games, one of those losses would be Ohio State. The other would be Oregon, and I'll say Texas. And after that, what are your wins? Like USC, Washington, those would be your best wins.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you're not going to have really a ton to hang your hat on if you go 9-3. Those are your three losses.
I think 10-2, and you've got to win one of those games, and you're back in. And if he was to go 10-2 with what they lost offensively, and to get to college football playoff, I think Michigan fans would be like, "Here we go."
Yeah. Quarterback gone, running back gone. Those are legendary players for them. Head coach gone, defensive coordinator gone. So Sherrone Moore has asked at Big Ten Media Days, just what do you have now that resembles last year's team?
From the outside looking in, with the coaching changes and particularly on offense, this team looks vastly different than the one that won the national title. From where you sit, how closely does your team resemble a national title contender again?
Yeah, I think every year for us, Heather, our goal is to win that. We're not going to stray away from the goal of trying to win it all every year. When you're at Michigan, that should be your goal every single year. For our team, it'll take shape in training camp, and then it'll take shape in game 1 and game 2 to see where we're at. Feel very confident about our team, very excited about our team. Every team is different. Team 142, 3, and 4, they're all different. So excited to see where 145 is.
Yeah.
They lost their best player 2 years ago, going into last season at Aiden Hutchinson, and you saw the impact that he had with the Detroit Lions. Harbaugh's done a really good job of recruiting and building this roster, but they lose a lot, and it's going to be different from when Harbaugh was there. And Jesse Minter is a guy that you brought up, a young defensive coordinator. His father, Rick, grew up in the business, and now he's on to the LA Chargers as well. And when you lose guys, as you mentioned, like Blake Corum and J.J. McCarthy and Roman Wilson offensively, that was the difference. Michigan's always, or at least the last 3 years, they've been dominant defensively, but they could score some points last year.
All right, so a couple quick things here. Troy in the MyBookie.ag chat room. Don't underestimate or undersell, he says, the hire of Wink Martindale. You have said this.
Yeah,
Wink Martindale, that's a good replacement.
When you brought up Jesse Minter, Wink Martindale, a guy that we saw at Baltimore, a guy that's been around a long time. The guy can coach defense, no doubt.
Jace asked the age-old question now that we have the setup that we have. If Michigan is 10-2, they beat Ohio State, then lose to Ohio State in the Big Ten title game, how does that wash out for him?
So if he splits with Ohio State, goes to a college football playoff?
No. Well, I think he's saying 10-2 regular season.
Okay.
But you've beaten Ohio State, but now you lose to him in the Big Ten title game.
So there you split with Ohio State.
You do split with Ohio State.
You're getting the college football playoff.
At 10-3, you're guaranteeing that?
It goes back to the question that we
I
asked
agree with you.
Grouchy Greg Sankey last week. If you've got 10-2s and you send one of these 10-2s to your conference championship game, either the Big Ten or the SEC, you cannot allow a 10-2 to be sitting home and then the team that loses to a 10-2 or an 11-1 and they don't get into the college football playoff.
Listen, I don't think going to a college football or going to a conference championship game is going to knock you out if you're SEC or Big Ten. They would be 10-3. But they would have a win over Ohio State, too. I mean, I think they probably still get in that situation.
Oh, I think they would.
Now, they may be the 10 seed, but they're getting in.
I even believe with that schedule, if Sherrone Moore is to go 8-4, I think Michigan fans can digest that and say, okay, let's see how recruiting's going. And also depends on where the 4 losses were, how the losses were, some of the other wins. But I think he's fine at 8-4. The only thing that gets him fired is 0-12, which is an impossibility.
It's an impossibility. I would agree. All right, we're going to do 4 downs when we come back. Johnston RV Center, as always, great sponsor here on the show. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicators where you find them. They have repriced both those lots. Their pricing is so good, in fact, and they're so confident that it's the best to find anywhere, that they will beat any price on a comparable RV nationwide. That is their guarantee to you. They also want to make sure you know you got a warranty behind you. Lifetime warranty from RV Warranty Forever on anything new or qualifying pre-owned. They're at Johnston RV Center. You want more info? Also that military discount, a small way of saying thank you. I-65, exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, johnstonrvcenter.com. 4 downs next.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. On game day, you never have to decide which teams to watch, only what combination of bites, burgers, wings, and more to order. Plus, where else are your favorite draft beers always poured at a frozen 29 degrees? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Stick around after the sun sets. Twin Peaks is open really late. Wind down with bourbon and late-night bites. Only at Twin Peaks.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short-notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hang out with the Next Round on the go. Whether you're driving to work, running errands, sitting on the beach, or you just need a break from the real world, we can keep you company. Check out the Next Round, Mystery Fifth Hour, and our other shows on your favorite podcast app. We'll meet you there.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trustful. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
So France says, obviously well ahead of us time-wise, so Snoop has already carried the torch today.
Oh, I missed it.
Damn it.
Yeah. Well, Scott's got video. You don't have to miss it.
It's not the same.
Hey, the
Snoop
best.
carrying the torch.
Did he light a joint off the torch?
I know, that would have been amazing, wouldn't it? I mean, completely on brand.
I bet he did, like probably not out in the masses.
Yeah.
But knowing Snoop behind the scenes, he had to have. And that'll be one of the first things he'll do, like an interview with Barstool or something.
Yep.
And that'll be something that's asked, but yeah, he probably did.
Yeah, like he probably did it for a little behind-the-scenes video, photo op or something like that. Snoop not moving fast now. He's walking with the torch. I thought most of the time they ran that. So Snoop not getting after it, but he's got the torch.
He used to be a really good athlete.
I don't know who lit the cauldron or if they've done it yet. I don't know how far ahead they are of us right now.
They are 7 hours in front, I think.
So it's probably not to that point yet. That would be at night.
What, is that 3:48 there?
Yeah, so we still got a little while to go.
4:48.
But I don't know who is like the main person in France. Like, who would you say, oh, it's obvious you got to have so-and-so. Like,
he's got EG shoes on.
Yeah, he does have EG shoes on with those gold shoes. They don't have the tassels.
They're called Latins?
I don't know.
I'm kidding.
So I thought Flavor Flav was going to be much more involved. Now, I know he's not the name that Snoop Dogg is, but he is the guy that was backing the U.S. women's water polo team months ago, right?
I saw, I think it was Pat Forty tweeted a photo of him doing a press conference yesterday. Like he was meeting with the media, Flavor Flav was. Well, we have sent our stars over, haven't we? Snoop Dogg and Flavor Flav. We have spared no expense.
Well, we shake the cage in America, don't we?
We have spared no expense. All right, we're about to do 4 downs, but first, Dr. B helping our heads of hair.
Yes. Are you staying on your...
I'm doing my best. Dallas messed me up, though. I didn't take it with me to Dallas. So
it's just a little metal box.
I know.
Very
I just
simple.
forgot it.
We're doing that non-invasive treatment. We do it 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. That is it. I had somebody reach out about their mom who's been thinning out.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, look, it's this simple. Dr. B has got the integrity. Tell mom to go see Dr. B if she's thinning out and he can save the hair follicles. He's going to let her know. If he can't, he will let her know that as well. We have had people that have gone before, and Dr. B's like, I can't help you out. He is helping me and Brown again since I went to see him more than 2 years ago. My hair has more than doubled in thickness. T3hair.net for more information. Call Dr. B and that great team. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. He will use that experience, his advanced training and genetic testing to help his patients fully understand the procedures they are considering. Call Dr. B today, 205-319-0316. Tell him the next round sent you. For more information, T3hair.net. There he is.
Who we got? Oh, yeah, there he is, Flavor Flav, Paris 2024. That was him at the press conference yesterday.
Have you ever tried to put on a swim cap with hair?
I've never tried to put on a swim cap.
Oh, my gosh.
It's not a comfortable feeling.
I bet it's squeeze. Like,
I have to get it wet first. You don't go dry.
So Jack did, one of the extracurriculars was swim team like 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
And that was what he hated most. And so I just tried it to see the kind of pain that damn thing, it just pulls your hair out.
I get like certain hats, if they fit too tight, they give me a migraine. I think that would fit so tight it'd give me a migraine. Like I have to, that's why I don't wear a ton of hats. They have to fit just right or I get a bad headache.
Does sunglasses give you one?
If they squeeze my nose, like the bridge of my nose too much. So I do have to be careful with that too.
Yeah, that's the only time I ever
What
get.
about turtlenecks?
I don't ever wear a turtleneck.
What about if chicken fight?
Oh yeah, because I've got 2 herniated discs in my neck. So
probably best not to put somebody on your shoulders.
Somebody on my shoulders doing a chicken fight is
so
me
you and
asking
Jennifer
for it.
tomorrow, that's out of the question?
Yeah, we have not chicken fought in quite a while, my wife and I. So no, I don't do that, but turtlenecks probably would, Rockstar. I hate being hot too.
And you're missing out, dude.
I know.
The looks I get when I go to a Christmas party, it's like, yeah, he's here.
I have not worn it.
Yeah.
I had a mock turtleneck for a minute when it was somewhat fashionable, I guess, in some circles. But a mock turtleneck, but that only hits you like right here, and it doesn't do the fold like the big.
I have never, and I've got a long neck, but I have never worn a turtleneck.
I don't think I have either, Lance. I can't
remember.
remember.
For Merton Hanks.
Merton Hanks didn't fold his down.
Longer though, Willie McGee or Merton Hanks?
I think Merton Hanks.
I think Merton Hanks was more accented because of the helmet.
It looked like
and
a bobblehead.
It looked like a bobblehead, yeah.
100%.
We never saw Willie McGee. We just saw with a hat. But I think Willie McGee, if we went inch for inch, I think it's really close.
Yeah, for the youngs out there, Rockstar is about to pull up a photo of Merton Hanks.
Great player for the 49ers.
Fantastic 49ers safety, number 36, Merton Hanks. But dude had him a neck, man.
You know, the crazy thing, it's a thick neck. That's probably a 17 and a half, maybe an 18-inch neck.
So you think when he went to get a custom dress shirt, the guy was like, oh, my gosh.
Oh, I think Ned Stark would have had a hard time taking that one off. I mean, you better sharpen that axe or that sword.
Wow.
Yeah, it bounces off. Because you've seen, and we saw it in oh my gosh, the Green Mile, where you have to hit that switch multiple times.
Yeah.
I just wonder if that ever happened with the guillotine.
Yeah.
Oh, it did. I read. I'm gonna have to go look it up. There was one woman, they had to do it like 3 or 4 times. Can you imagine watching that? Like the first
close
take?
your eyes. This is going to be good. We're ready.
But like a guy like Mark Mangino had that fat patch on the back of his neck.
The guillotine just bounces
so you
off
know
of it.
that would bounce off.
Let's do 4 downs. It's presented every day by Slice.
5 great locations. The weekend is here. Stop in, pick up some pies. You're going to be the hero for the family. The original Lakeview, Vestavia, Montevallo, Crestline Park. Newest location right there in Edgewood and Homewood. Get in, see the Majaya Brothers local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
First down.
Josh says, great bracket punishment. Turtleneck every day for a month, no matter what. Now, we'd have to do it in the cold months. We're not going to.
That'd be tough.
Because you look stupid in the summer.
Yeah, you won't go heat stroke.
I mean, the problem is you're just wasting clothes, too. What are you going to send them to Chile when you get done?
I guess so. Somebody will wear a turtleneck.
Nothing but celebrity birthdays, Brown, today.
I love those. Let's go. That's my
Kevin
favorite 4 downs.
Spacey. Little little off the grid now?
You know, he fell off a little
65 years old. He is a senior citizen today. Jason Statham, 57. If I asked you, this would have been an easy answer back in the day. It would have been Kevin Spacey, but ultimately better career, Jason Statham or Kevin Spacey?
I mean, Spacey's obviously the better actor of the two, right?
Well, Statham was in the better Jaws in the Meg.
So. Statham's had some big roles, though, and Spacey...
Well, Statham really got his start with Guy Ritchie, and he wasn't even a tough guy when you look at, Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Really
Italian
good films.
Yeah. Italian Jobs. I love those. I love that
Calvin
movie.
and Hobbes, what's it called?
Matt
Shaw.
Maddie had never seen Collateral.
He's pissing on Dale Earnhardt's number.
And so we watched Collateral last week. And have you seen Collateral? I know
Rockstar has.
Rockstar
I've not seen
has.
Collateral, no.
You know, because Chris Cornell's on the soundtrack in the middle of the movie. Really, I mean, great film. And Tom Cruise playing against type. Jamie Foxx is really good in it. But we're watching that. In the beginning of the scene, there's an airport scene when Tom Cruise's character flies into LAX.
Yeah.
And Jason Statham, his character bumps into Tom Cruise, and it's something that is planned. Obviously, it's part of the plot. But Statham has one line in that movie. And from where he was then to where he is now, it's pretty incredible.
Just the one line. I'm still going to go Kevin Spacey.
I'm going to go Kevin Spacey. He's got 2 Oscars.
All the stuff. I don't.
Second down.
Stanley Kubrick would have been 96 today, one of the great directors of all time. If I asked you, best Stanley Kubrick film.
Not a big Kubrick guy myself.
So I'll just go through some.
I know you like Clockwork Orange.
His last one I thought was underrated in Eyes Wide Shut. Clockwork Orange was incredible. Dr. Strangelove is probably viewed as his most critically acclaimed hit.
Well, Lunceford had an immediate answer.
I'll give
2001 Spartacus.
I'll give
2001.
I'll give Lunceford and Tyler my part here. They can answer.
2001, not even remotely close.
The Space Odyssey?
It's one of the greatest movies of all time.
Interesting.
Have you seen A Clockwork Orange?
That is one that's still on the list that I have not seen.
Oh, it's to me, A Clockwork Orange is it. But Full Metal Jacket, I'm not a big horror guy, but The Shining to me is the best horror film of all time.
Yeah, it's okay.
Wow.
I'm not a horror person.
It's right there with Mexico at Epcot. What is Tyler's opinion of this? Does Tyler have an opinion?
I think he would go with Clockwork Orange.
I would probably go Shining over Clockwork Orange, but Clockwork Orange is good. Eyes Wide Shut is pretty solid.
Yeah.
Full Metal Jacket is great too.
Oh yeah.
I've
never seen Spartacus.
Spartacus is all right. I'd probably say Eyes Wide Shut is actually second for me.
Yeah, Eyes Wide Shut was really his last film, unfortunately, in 1999. It's when Cruise and Kidman were married, and just a deep dive of some sexual deviance and how sex is really, I don't know, viewed in our society. It's an interesting movie.
Third down.
Kate Beckinsale, 51 years old today. Sandra Bullock, 60. In their prime. Sandra Bullock, Kate Beckinsale. To me, this one's not close.
Okay, because Kate Beckinsale's the hot girl. Sandra Bullock's the girl next door.
Yeah, but Sandra Bullock.
They're a little bit different, but I like Sandra Bullock.
I mean, like in
Congeniality.
Yeah. Gracie Freebush.
Yeah.
But she looked good in that. She looked good in Time to Kill.
I was going to say, I think
Speed. Yeah.
I think prime. I don't know where I go prime Kate Beckinsale, but I would say prime Sandra Bullock is Time to Kill. Sweatiest movie of all time, so she does sweat some in
Kate Beckinsale's probably Underworld.
Yeah.
Or Laurel Canyon.
Yeah. I'm going to go Sandra Bullock here.
Oh, Click, yeah.
Some of it's because of my age, probably.
I've never seen Broke Down Palace, so I really don't know what Kate Beckinsale looks like in that.
She was really young back then.
But big Beckinsale fan.
Yeah, I'll go Sandra Bullock. A Time to Kill Sandra Bullock. No, I don't mean it is a time to kill her.
It's not yet. But
not
yeah,
yet.
The clock's ticking.
Sandra Bullock from A Time to Kill.
Fourth down.
Wherever Taylor Korn is, she can throw this one out because this one to me is going to be difficult. Mick Jagger is 81 years old today.
Okay.
Mick Jagger or LeBron James?
I am not a big Rolling Stones fan.
I'm not either. I used to like them when I was younger. Went and saw Steel Wheels, which most of Birmingham did. They put on a good show.
Yep.
Had an opportunity to go see them in Chicago 4 or 5 years ago and chose to go see Hamilton instead.
Yeah, not a big Rolling Stones fan, though I can respect the fact that they have stood the test of time and they have put out hit after hit after hit. LeBron will go down as one of the easy top 10 greatest players of all time, probably top 5 greatest players of all time.
Maybe when it's ultimately set, like if he was to win another championship and he was to carry a team, I think you can make the argument he's number 2.
So I'm probably going to go
Space Jam 2, The Barbershop. I mean, come on, guys.
I mean, I will say Mick Jagger has consistently had a better team around him than LeBron has.
I think it's safe to say, and you guys correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not a Rolling Stones guy, but because of the Beatles, it was Lennon and McCartney. Like, the clear-cut number one front man as far as like exposure and record sales, I would think is Mick Jagger in the history of music.
But Keith Richards is right there too, but like it's just with the music writing, but Mick Jagger is the front man. To be 81 years old and he's still doing
If you just had a bunch of music critics and you gave them a piece of paper and you were like, write the top 5 front men of all time, Mick Jagger would be in everybody's top 5. But how many would he be at the top of the list? I would say a good portion of those.
Is it wild, and Little T has put this out in a poll question, is it wild that those guys with all the success they had, nobody really ever tested a solo career out of that group, did they?
Oh, yeah, they did.
Who?
They found out Keith Richards did one.
Ringo.
Did he?
Mick
Ringo,
Jagger,
he's
they
a
found
Beatle.
out.
Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah, you're right.
They found out, like, we're better as a group. Like, people want to... Like, it's just, if it's a Mick Jagger solo album, it's not going to do nearly as good. You find out, like, we're better as a group, as a whole.
Yeah, but I meant to say the Beatles, they all did it.
They all did it.
Yeah.
All the Beatles did it. That was, that was what kind of ended them.
Well, they just couldn't get along, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't think the Rolling Stones with those egos would get along, but I guess they did. I mean, they're still performing.
It turned like the Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley thing, where we hate each other, but we know we make money, so we're just we'll do the stage. Once we do the performance, we go our separate ways. We'll
Yeah,
do
I mean,
separate
look,
buses.
for money, I could stomach it, couldn't you?
So, yeah, that's
you figure it out for that kind of money. All right, that is 4 Downs presented by Slice.
Yeah, stop into one of those locations created by the late Jeff Bajaya. Just an incredible dude. His brothers, Jason and Chris, continue to celebrate his legacy. Stop into one of those 5 locations, from the soul pie to the Bajaya special. You're going to love it. Local pizza, local ingredients. For more information, slicebirmingham.com.
To the desert with Todd Furhman next on the next round.
Follow Jon Lunceford on Twitter @jlunce.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville. Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Looks. Check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham. We got now.
Follow Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. The social media team at Next Round Live is dedicated to giving you daily news conferences and practice video from UAB, Alabama, Auburn, and around college football. Follow and compare to the sites you used to visit. You'll also get the latest highlights and news from the Next Round Daily Show. Turn on the notifications so you don't miss a thing. Next Round Live on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. See more at nextroundlive.com.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, Todd Furhman coming right up from out in Vegas. Odie's Fest is coming up this Saturday, though.
We are 32 hours away from Odie's Fest.
The clock is ticking.
Quick math, I'm thinking. A lot of people reaching out to me, can you get me tickets? Guess what? 35th anniversary, tickets are absolutely free. 2 shows outside right there in Crestline Village starting at 6 o'clock. 1 show inside starting at 10 o'clock. If you love the live music, great food, fun for the entire family, Odie's Fest. Stop in, go see Will Haver and that incredible staff. Get some of the great food from Rodney Davis. Tickets are free for the 35th anniversary of Odie's for Odie's Fest tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Also, VIP tickets are available where you get food, drink, all-inclusive, and bathroom access. That's at odiesfest.com.
All right, it's been a couple of weeks. Welcome back, Todd Furhman. We have missed you. I hope you've missed us just as much.
Always, gentlemen, but I know you're doing bigger and better things with these SEC Media Days, so I get to play second fiddle in regards to all of that.
Hey, where are you? Well, first, let me ask you this question we just asked, because I know you're a worldly man, but we do a thing called 4 Downs every day. And we try to include celebrity birthdays, and Mick Jagger is 81 today. So I asked the question, Furhman, ultimately better career, Mick Jagger or LeBron James?
I mean, I think you have to look at Mick Jagger's longevity as kind of putting him slightly above LeBron James in terms of what he's able to do. Now, career earnings-wise, don't have the numbers in front of me. Have to imagine LeBron James going to dwarf what Mick Jagger has done throughout his career. But when you're able to perform and sell out stadiums as long as he's been able to do it, I think it's impossible to discount. So I'll give the nod to Mick Jagger over LeBron James.
Okay, so put Furhman down for Mick Jagger. I think I can't even remember where I went. I went
You went LeBron.
Did I go LeBron?
I went Mick, too.
All right, it's a tough one, though. Let's go to baseball. I saw last week, and I'm not sure where we stand at this very moment, that for the first time, the Dodgers were not the favorite to win the World Series. The odds have gotten, with these Dodgers injuries, just up in the air completely. Where are you right now on World Series winner?
Looks a heck of a lot different now than it would have been a couple weeks ago when we were chatting about this. You mentioned the Dodgers kind of falling off a little bit, but they're not the only team. I think people are starting to panic in the odds-making community about the Braves that we thought was going to be a formality in terms of them getting in. So when you're looking at some of the numbers now in terms of the World Series frontrunners, it seems like the Philadelphia Phillies that have really moved to the forefront. It's not like the Yankees have exactly played great baseball in their own right. So when you're going down the board, the Phillies, depending on the book, favored over the Dodgers. Some shops still have the Dodgers right there neck and neck. Yankees number extremely short, as well as the Orioles. A couple of the movers have happened in the American League. It's the Astros that have really been the beneficiary of all these teams falling down around them. And unfortunately, for those handful of Seattle Mariners fans that I know tune into your show every day, acquiring Randy Arozarena earlier this morning or last night, depending on how you look at it, doesn't move the needle for Seattle's prospects to win the World Series.
If Baltimore wins the Garrett Crochet lottery, what would that do to their odds, do you think?
It helps a decent amount because it solidifies one of the positions that they have some questions about in their rotation now. What will Crochet do in terms of signing that longer-term deal? Like he said, that he won't go to a contender and pitch in October unless he's got a little bit of that job security. I don't move that number a ton, but for books that have them in that 8-1 range, the Orioles that is, I would take that price down a touch to 7.5 to 1, 7 to 1. Given what we've seen from Crochet so far this season, pitching for the much-maligned White Sox, he's a guy that can give you 6 strong, can go out there and take over games. And in a bandbox ballpark like that in Baltimore that I know plays a little bit bigger over the last couple of years, that's the kind of skill set that you can't ignore when you can get some of those timely outs and not necessarily pitch to contact.
We talk about the unpredictability of the baseball postseason, and last year, Rangers, Diamondbacks, one of the reasons I've never bought a future ticket for baseball. Do you hold any future tickets for this year?
Well, you mentioned a team that I do hold a ticket on. I just took a little bit of a nibble on them earlier this week with the Texas Rangers. Bet them at 33 to 1 to come out of the American League. No, the path doesn't exactly appear to be all that favorable when you look at how far back they're mired in terms of competing for a wild card. But for just that reason, I think it's all about getting hot at the right time. And when you look at this Rangers team, if they're able to cobble together a healthy pitching rotation when it matters most, this is a team that's got a little bit of that championship medal and pedigree. As a Yankees fan, I've watched this team way too much lately, and I don't believe they're a legitimate threat to come out of the AL. I think Baltimore has some concerns. So for me, it boils down to if you can make a compelling case for any of the teams in the Central. And while the Twins on their best day can beat anybody, this is a group that is prone to some long losing streaks as well. So just based on the number, like this business is all about, took a shot on the Rangers at a price right around 30-1.
Todd Furhman is bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com. People in the chat room just the other day, the mybookie.ag chat room, were talking about the conference previews you guys have out there, Todd. I don't know that you were on all of them, but a lot of conference previews up at Bet the Board Podcast. They were saying how good they were. So have you got every conference up right now?
We do have every conference. The G5s are a little bit shorter, so we did about an hour for those, and we kind of handed it off to our in-house college football expert, Brad Powers, who's one of the best in the business. He goes through each and every one of those teams with their win total projections, how the transfer portal has impacted them, and then, of course, for the Power 4 conferences, it truly became a labor of love. So we did about 2.5 to 3 hours on all 4 of those leagues. We completed the SEC most recently, went about 3 hours for that conference, and the great part about it, tried to timestamp all of them. We know people just can't allocate 3 hours to listen from start to finish, but you can listen to a couple of teams, break those down, offered up some win total best bets, and if folks can kind of read between the lines, there are some other bets that we kind of offered up there as well. Just don't want to classify them as best bets, knowing how volatile this win totals market can be.
Do you have a dark horse, an underdog to watch in the SEC?
Texas A&M would be the team that I would watch. Their price is widely available in that 15 or 20-1 range. Do I think the Aggies in Mike Elko's first season get the job done? No, probably not. But if they knock off Notre Dame week 1 in a game that's a de facto pick 'em at Kyle Field, you'll see that number start to come down, even though it's not a conference game. And for me, I thought it was important to get out ahead of it. I look at Connor Wegman, and on his best days, I mean, he's a quarterback that doesn't get enough credit. Now, granted, we don't have a large enough sample size. We got glimpses of Marcel Reed in the bowl game and how dynamic he can be. And I think when you look at this team defensively, I know it won't look the same as what we saw last year. I mean, this is a group whose schedule sets up relatively favorably. We're rather down on LSU, so that's a team I think in the SEC that's a little bit overvalued. I'm not, of course, going to discount Georgia. Do have some questions about Ole Miss and how you blend all of those unique personalities in the transfer portal. And a team in Alabama that I think continues to fly under the radar. It's been interesting to watch their futures movement in the conference as well. You saw the Tide drift out to 8 or 9-1. That number has started to come down as there's increased optimism, not just with what Kalen DeBoer is doing for the future with how well they've recruited, but what that'll mean to this year's group and how quickly Jalen Milroe can adapt to his style.
Tell me if you agree with this, Furman. I think, and I try to tell people this when they're buying futures, to me it's an investment and it gives you a team to pull for the season, as opposed to just sitting there and, you know, wagering week in, week out on a team. If you've got a ticket on Alabama minus 9.5 or 9.5 wins, you play the over, you're pulling for Alabama in all their games. I don't think you're going to see a Missouri that was 6.5 last year and they win 11 games. It really is threading a needle because I like Alabama over 9.5, but I think the number's probably 10. I like Auburn over 7.5, but that number's probably 8. But it's fun to have the future ticket in college football because you've got a team to pull for every day.
There's no doubt about it. And I know a lot of bettors come into the college football and the NFL season with very different expectations. So if you just want to put up a little bit of money and have a rooting interest each and every week, either for your favorite teams or against others, win totals provide the perfect vehicle to try and do so, more so than getting caught up in the week in, week out grind, trying to figure out, hey, do I want to lay the lumber with Alabama in their season opener against Western Kentucky, or what that looks like. The win total is simple, straightforward, and relatively transparent in terms of what you need to be able to do to try and cash those tickets. But you're exactly right, Lance. When you talk about the efficiency in that market, I remember 10, 12 years ago where these win totals didn't come out until early August. Now we're seeing college football win totals dot the landscape as soon as the previous season is over. And with the transfer portal, you've seen wild swings. So some of these teams will move 1.5 to 2 games, but they're not moving 1.5 to 2 games now. These markets are pretty set unless there's a major injury or something happens, aka a player getting arrested for the Georgia Bulldogs, which seems to happen by the week. Win totals there can get impacted as we get closer to the season, but they're extremely efficient, and the days of being able to pick off some of these win totals that'll move 2 to 3 games are behind us. But I do think there are some unique avenues for folks to get involved if they do want to have that rooting interest each and every week without doing the handicapping that we do and kind of locked ourselves behind closed doors throughout the course of the fall.
All right, so you can get all those conference previews, bettheboardpodcast.com, bettheboardpodcast.com. Brian in the mybookie.ag chat room says, I listen to those podcasts. I'm on walks every day. Furman and the guys really good on those. Daniel says the previews are fantastic, so a lot of big fans over there. You can do it yourself, bettheboardpodcast.com. Furman, thank you. Have a great weekend.
Always a pleasure, gentlemen. And the one thing I'll say, and I say it all the time, this segment goes a hell of a lot more smoothly when Dunaway's out of office. So we always appreciate the opportunity.
Shot at Dunaway. Thank you, Furman. Have a good weekend.
Be good, boys. Have a great weekend.
Poor Jim. Can't even defend himself. Furman on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. Rockstar, I have not heard this cut 18. Cut 18. Dabo Swinney's upset about something.
Oh, no.
I knew this would get you going.
Oh, no.
Scott told me it was 6 minutes, and he has trimmed it down to, I think it says $1.40 right here. 6 minutes down to $1.40. Dabo upset about something. We'll find out what that is. One moment, but first, Greg from Pell City. Greg from Pell City is the guy that can get up on that roof if you've had roof damage. If you just think you might need a new roof when storms come through, Storm Restoration Roofing is on the scene there to charge you nothing to get up on that roof and tell you how it works. Listen, he's been up on people's roofs. They've reached out to us on the show like, I thought I needed a new roof. He said, I got a good 5 years to go. He's not just out there to sell you something. He's out there to be honest with you and take good care of you. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, Storm Restoration Roofing. Greg Nelson is his name, 205-542-3531. That is 205-542-3531, Greg from Pell City. All right, so I am told from Scott here that Dabo Swinney is upset about the change in scholarship numbers. I didn't think this was that big of a story. I think you've got.
I don't even think we've brought it up.
I know. So I'm surprised that Dabo's even got a hot take on it, but apparently had a 6-minute hot take on it. The NCAA has expanded scholarships from 85 to 105, if I understand the story, right?
That seems like that would be a good problem, right?
Sounds like you're giving more guys an opportunity.
More guys an opportunity. I think coaches love having depth. Not only the opportunity is by far the most important.
Yeah.
But everybody, it's equitable. Everybody's got 105 to play with.
Now, I will say this. I think this number gets drastically reduced when players become athletic department employees. But
yeah, we'll have to.
But that's
okay. So
just the business world.
You haven't heard it, right?
I have not heard this. Scott just told me.
I haven't heard it. What do you think the complaint on growing the roster is?
It's hard for me to think of one. Maybe this is going to be harder for the little guy to pay. You know, look, we're Clemson. We'll be fine. But the little guy, how are they going to pay for 105 scholarships? I don't know. But it was 6 minutes long, so he's pissed about something.
Is it if we're going to expand rosters, we need to expand my staff?
That could be it. I don't know.
Let's see.
Well, let's hear what he says. Here's a minute 40 of 6 minutes on Dabo upset about this, Rockstar.
The crazy thing is there's not many coaches that want 105 scholarships. You know, we want to keep our walk-ons. You know, it's hard to manage, you know, that many guys. And when you have that many guys on scholarship, you think you got transfers now. You wait till that number gets there. It's going to be a lot. So it's going to change a lot of things. I don't think there was an intention to say, okay, you can have no more walk-ons. I think just the way it was settled was whatever your roster size is, that's your scholarship limit. Now, that's great for baseball. That's great for soccer and some of the sports that, you know, you take 11 scholarships and spread it out amongst 30-something guys. They all have to be on scholarship. But for football, the unintended consequence is it basically eliminates your walk-ons. And there's no coach that wants that. Yeah, great, we get more scholarships. That's awesome. But, you know, our game is just different. I mean, if you look at, you know, and you think 105 guys, you ought to have plenty of guys. But, you know, you have to dive a little deeper into that. You know, if you look at the NFL, I mean, they'll have 53 and 16 or 18 on the practice squad, but whatever their roster is, it never changes. So, for example, if they have 8 active linemen, they never have less than that. They can go to any practice squad on 32 teams and take a guy on Monday and activate him to play. And then, oh, by the way, every Tuesday they can bring free agents through. But in college, you can't grab the guy out of the algebra class over here in the middle of the season, you know, and bring him over here and plug him in. And so whatever you start with, it dwindles.
I'm kind of confused.
So the walk-ons are on scholarship now. So, I mean, you've still got 105 guys.
And they're getting an opportunity. And is it like we pull for the underdog that is the walk-on? Like a guy, I think Drake Stoops was a walk-on, by the way, on that Rams roster right now.
I think Dabo was a walk-on.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a soft spot in his heart for walk-ons, but if I don't know. I've never been a coach, so I don't know the difference in managing a roster where your last 15, 20 guys are walk-ons or they're on scholarship. I don't know how that changes the algebra here. So
now I would think managing 105 players is more work. You know, the more accounts I have on the air, the more work it is. But that's something that you should want, right?
The player is the player. I mean, he's there either way.
And no, I do think, I mean, obviously the numbers are massive right now with the transfer portal. And when you expand the roster, you are going to have more people that get in the portal. Again, that's just a bigger headache and more work. But, you know, I think having more depth and giving people more opportunities is much more important.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine listening to 6 minutes of it, Scott. I feel for you.
Yes.
Hate that you had to do that, especially with the confusion with the Georgia running back, that really not a Georgia running back. Did you see that picture of the CrossFit
I did
athlete?
not. What happened? Oh, the guy with the all the muscles?
Yeah, all the muscles. Like a Marvel character.
Yeah. So people thought he was a Georgia running back.
Yeah, Scott, jump on the mic. How did this? Because I sent it to Scott and I was like, "Is this real?" And he's like, "It is not real."
Yeah. So what happened, Scott?
Yeah, hang on. Give me a minute and I'll pull it.
Oh, Scott, well, tell him about Lonya's Furniture while Scott pulls the photo here.
Yeah, look, if you are in the furniture market, you've got to make the short drive from Birmingham. Take exit 280 off of I-65, Hallmark Farms exit. Go south on U.S. Highway 31 for 1.3 miles. Lonya's is going to be right there on your right. Get in there. Tell Reggie and John, the guys from the next round, sent you. You've heard Lonya's for years and years on our show. They do such a great job. Our friends at Lonya's Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Lonya's offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, entertainment, and a slew of mattresses. Lonya's can also help with your home design and decorating. Great deals going on right now. Stop and see the incredible showroom. Again, make sure you tell the fine folks at Lonya's Furniture that the guys from the next round sent you.
It does seem like any move they make, Dabo doesn't like. I mean, he may have good reasons for all of them, but he does not like the transfer portal. He's was talking about it in that soundbite. He does not like NIL.
Here would be an interesting question.
He literally said, the day players start getting paid, I'm going to retire. Now, he has not backed that up. Once players started getting paid, he's like, well, we'll figure this out. I can keep winning.
Can you try and get Dabo on the show next week? And I will ask him the question. You don't like NIL. You don't like 105 scholarships. If you got to make the rules, what is a perfect world in college football for you numbers-wise? Because I'd like to hear. Yeah. Maybe in the 6 minutes he gave it to us. I bet Scott had zoned out by then and has no idea.
So Hammock or whatever says 105 scholarships. Teams have trouble keeping 85 with the transfer portal and NIL. Only so many can play. But those walk-ons can hit the transfer portal just like anybody else. Am I wrong about that?
Right. And still, with 105 scholarships, you're giving people opportunities.
I mean, I think if I was going to be a walk-on at Clemson, and the other option is, no, actually, you're not a walk-on anymore. You're on scholarship. I'm going to be a happier employee at Clemson.
Yeah.
I just got a pay raise, right?
You got a pay raise. And you know people, and I know people that have played. They never played, right? But they were part of the program. And it was a life-changing experience just to be part of that team and to be able to practice with those guys and to be able to be on the sidelines.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, that's going to be a crowded sideline, though.
It's going to be a crowded sideline with 105 scholarship players. All right, we are going to have some fun when we return. David Koechner going to be with us. You know him from The Office. You know him from Anchorman. He is next on The Next Round.
Follow The Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
Bright Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Hey, Lance Taylor from The Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them The Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game, or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster. Champy's Chicken.
Our friends at Longest Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Longest offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Longest offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Longest Sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Longest has to offer you.
Every day, someone is ridiculed and mocked for the clothing they chose to wear. It's a harsh reality we all must face. But you have the chance to change all of that with one visit to nextround.store. For just a few minutes of browsing, you will observe so many clothing options, from hats to hoodies to t-shirts. Please, for yourself or someone you love, go to nextround.store and embrace the warmth of true attire.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on The Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at The Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
All right, we're back on The Next Round. We're about to have some fun. Michelson Laser Vision starting this segment off for us.
I was legally blind, believe it or not, over 2 decades ago. Went to see Dr. Mark Michelson, got LASIK done. I've got 2015 vision, Maverick Vision. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her The Next Round sent you. Ask about the pre-inflation pricing. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
We're excited that David Koechner is with us in studio. Did I get close enough on that?
You know what? Everybody gets it wrong because you're correct.
David.
Okay? Koechner. How are you supposed to say it? Clearly, it's Koechner.
Koechner?
You've heard Koechner, but then your mind is right. So it means you're a bright person. You're like, that's not right.
Yeah.
Because your mind is going, I'm seeing the name in front of me. It's not Koechner. It's not.
It's not.
And it actually isn't.
It is not.
I have 36 first cousins on my dad's side. So when I got into show business, what was I supposed to do? You guys are saying it wrong? First of all, when did you start saying it wrong? There are 35 German families in this small town I grew up in. Which one of you wouldn't correct the dumbass Koechners and go, you're saying it wrong?
That's right. You got this wrong all the time.
Right?
What do you get called that, or what do you get called the most? Mark Packer or Champ Kind?
Todd Packer.
Todd Packer or Champ Kind?
These days, more Packer. Pac-Man, Packer. Or if you're at the airport, it's whammy or blammo. It's like, well, it ain't blammo.
It's pretty. I was saying this earlier. I never watched The Office until you guys hit Netflix, and my teenage kids are the ones that introduced me to it a few years ago. And it's really an incredible show. It's so much fun. My daughter is up here because she wants to meet you after the fact.
Very good.
But do you notice that maybe the demographic is a lot younger than you thought it would be?
Oh yeah, it's from 12 to 75, right? Because I'll see there at the show, and it'll always be like, oh, my kids want to come so bad. Like, I don't know why Comedy Club, because you're a restaurant, you can have a license to have kids, in the show.
Well, and you can take a kid to an R-rated movie as long as you have a parent.
Right? So, but yeah. Now, they're going to get a bit of an education. And I'll say it, if I see a young kid in the audience, like, whoopsie, looks like you guys are going to have a talk on the way home. Because, Todd Packer's Todd Packer. But, it's amazing. Now, here's the way I break it down. I believe young kids come to it because they're like, oh, this is funny. Adults are stupid, right? Like they're all dumb. Then at some point in high school, they start getting the jokes. Like, oh, I get the joke, right? Then in college, it feels like, the workplace isn't going to be that intimidating when I get out because they're all stupid on The Office. Then when you're out working, you're like, well, I guess I'm working in the office.
What got me is I'm sitting down watching with the kids, and Michael Scott is making phone calls because he thinks he's got herpes. And my kids are laughing, and, at that point, my son was 12 or 13, and I'm like, boy, I don't know why he thinks this is funny.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
This is a real thing.
Right.
Do Do you like? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
you
you're
want to
fine.
do you when you're in the airport? Like Brian Cox, who was fantastic on Succession. He wants
Adam McKay here.
Yeah,
there you go. Nice.
Yeah. Brian Cox says that people always want him to insult them in the airport, call them a name. Do people want you to go Todd Packer on them in the airport and insult them?
They'll use it's usually a quick interaction, and after a while you figure out how to dispatch it quickly.
Yeah,
I'm usually wearing a hat, and I can pull it down and just keep moving or whatever, and I don't mind. It's a blessing, it really is. But you can't give everybody what they want. I'll say hello, but I'm not asking you of your time. We had a nice pleasantry. Let's just leave it at
move
that.
on, yeah.
Especially if you're at the airport, right? Now, the only time I can empathize with women is if I'm sitting down. I don't drink anymore. I used to. But if
because we were going to ask you to do and I was talking to our social media director yesterday.
A breathalyzer?
No. We do it. I'll let you get back to your story.
Will.
We've got a vodka sponsor, it's Charles Barkley's Vodka, and so we do a thing called Last Call, and we'll sit down in our green room, and we'll sit down over a bottle of vodka, and we'll do a 30-minute interview. And we did it with TJ Miller a couple of months ago, and he was great, and he was piss-hammered. And so I was like, you know what? Maybe we should ask if David wants to do this. And then I saw in the bio, he's a recovering alcoholic. And I was like, nope, probably can't do this. So anyway.
I can't. I'd love to. Yeah. I was good at it. I'm as good as anybody. I'd say I'm better at most people at drinking.
I don't know about TJ Miller.
Well,
yeah, he can put them back.
That doesn't mean.
So anyway,
good.
back to airport sympathizing with
Yes.
women. Sorry.
When someone sits down, a guy sits down, wants to buy you a drink.
Okay.
Now, what's he buying in his mind?
Your time.
That's right.
Yep.
And guess what? I don't want to give him
Your time.
Yes. Because what's Will Ferrell like?
Yeah.
Like, oh, dude. That's the only time I can go. I see what women go through. Because if I say no, then
you're a dick.
Yeah, you're a dick. I don't know if I can say dick.
Yeah.
You can, but you can't say dicks. Anyway,
but what's Will Ferrell
that's
like,
the only time.
Yeah, see, no, he'll answer us because he's trying to sell tickets tonight.
Right.
444-0008,
He wants your
stardom.com. He's got shows tonight. He's got shows on Saturday.
Yes.
Check it out,
3 on Saturday. We
stardom.com.
got the office trivia at 4:00 on Saturday.
Ooh.
I say it's the best office trivia, best trivia show in the country. I come out, I host it as Todd Packer. There's 3 rounds that's played on an app on your phone. During those 3 rounds, I tell stories and I do Packerisms.
Oh, that's incredible.
It's all Packer all the time. So it's kind of like a hybrid trivia stand-up. At the end of the trivia show, the 2 top teams are going to come up on stage and compete in and do a scene with Todd Packer to determine the winner. There's a Q&A. It's the only show I do a meet and greet with, so everybody gets a picture. So
Is that all ages?
I don't know. You'd have to call the club.
I can text right now. I'll find that out for you.
We can talk to Tony.
Yeah, Tony will answer it, or Lance get an answer from the comedy club.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah, fire away.
For your audition, did you have to look at anything? Did you have any inspiration from Finchy? Did that character? Did you look at it?
My volume up.
Okay, sorry about that.
Yes, sir. Go ahead again.
I said, when you did your audition for Packer, did you have anything to look for research for the Finchy character on the British version, or you just did your own?
Sir, if you don't mind, I did not audition.
And they begged you to take the part.
I'll tell you what happened. Poor guy, whoever he is. So I auditioned for Michael Scott. Now, like you said, you're a huge fan of the British Office.
Yes, love
huge
it.
fan
Yeah.
of the British Office.
Finchy.
And I'm like, exactly, he's Finchy. How could they do an American version of The Office? It's culturally, because it's a cultural thing. It's all about, classism in England. How are they going to adapt this? So I auditioned for Michael Scott, but the audition sides for Michael Scott were David Brent's first scene in the pilot. Mm-hmm. I'm like, how do you say this other than the way Ricky Gervais did? I couldn't wrap my mind around it. Steve hadn't seen The Office, probably why he got it. No, Steve's a brilliant comic genius. He's a good friend of mine. But so I did not have a successful audition. So when they came to cast Packer, whatever it was, season 2, I can't remember. I was in Canada shooting your favorite movie called Snakes on a Plane. You're welcome.
Incredible.
It was necessary. And then
what is Samuel Jackson like?
Yeah, can't say those lines on the show. We'll say it off the air, folks. You can all say it with me. But so they'd hired a dramatic actor to do Packer, and after a couple of days, they realized this isn't working. So they're then compiling a list of people that they could maybe come in and audition for Packer. And Steve goes, why don't we just give it to Koechner? He's an a-hole. And that's not the truth. But he did say, why don't they how about Dave Koechner? So, and then Greg Daniels, I'd worked with him before on King of the Hill. And he's like, oh, that's perfect. So that's how that actually happened.
That's awesome.
Well,
yeah.
Speaking of auditions, I mean, everybody talks about when you auditioned for SNL and you were there for a season, the audition in front of Lorne Michaels. I mean, how nerve-wracking is it? What do you remember most about that?
Here's what the weird part is. I wasn't nervous because I knew it was mine. That sometimes in your life, you get this peaceful feeling in your heart, and it was mine. I don't know why. It's never happened since where I was like, this is mine. It has happened one other time. But I was like, this is mine. I knew since I was 13 years old I was going to be on the show. How? I don't know. I decided. And so I had this, I auditioned. I improvised my entire first audition. That's crazy. That's crazy. But it worked. So then you get a call back.
So what was it?
The audition?
Yeah.
You had to do an original character, one or two original characters, and then you had to do an impression of a political figure and an impression of an actor. So I just made it up. I did Pat Buchanan at the time because his voice and mine are somewhat similar. And so I did that one. Who else did I do? Gosh, it's slipping my mind right now. Lordy, I can't remember.
Charlie Sheen.
Huh?
Charlie Sheen.
No, it wasn't Charlie Sheen. I did play Charlie Sheen on the show, though, didn't I? But anyway, it was an older guy, so no one remembered. But anyway, that went well. Then, of course, there's the callback. And then that one, you can do whatever you want. And I wrote that piece. It was almost like a one-man show. I did 5 different characters. And I just remember...
You kill it?
Yes, I did. Now, here's the weird thing. You're in Studio 8H, which is the home stage for Saturday Night Live. And now that makes your heart pound a bit, because you're on the stage that everybody's been on, and there's not an audience. That's the tough part. It's just dead, and no one's laughing. So I'd had enough stage time where you just focus on what you're doing. You don't focus on, is this working? Because now you're lost. If you're now not doing your job, you're hoping about something else that you can't control, well, now you're out of it, right? So, pardon me, it went very well. And then for the final callback, it's just you and the head writer and Lorne in his office, and that's the weirdest meeting you'll ever have. Because here's the thing I remember. 5 times in this conversation with him in his office, we're done talking about that now. Like, what? No one speaks to you like that. Have you had anyone in your life say to you, we're done talking about this now? Like, why?
A parent.
Unless it's your wife. Unless it's your wife. But,
David, go ahead.
Anyway, yeah. So at some point, the other guy leans over, by the way, you got the job. Yeah. So the third time is just to make sure you're not a weirdo. And I've told this story before, but there was one guy who got called back for the third time. And we all thought he was British. Why? He had a British accent. Well, guess what?
He wasn't British.
He wasn't British.
Wow. And they had figured that out?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's just too weird. That's a big red flag. So I don't know what happened to the guy.
He did not make Saturday Night Live, obviously.
He did not. He hasn't done anything since.
Yeah. David Koechner is with us in studio. He'll be at the Comedy Club. I've got a really good friend, a guy named Jacob Simmons, who's in an improv group here in town. In fact, I saw them last night, and he knew you were going to be on the show. He texted me, he said he's an improv legend. He was in a famous Chicago group called Beer Shark Mice.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beer Shark Mice.
Beer Shark Mice, just because we were trying to think of a name. So Neil Flynn, you know him as the janitor from Scrubs, or the dad from The Middle. As me and 4 of my buddies, and we all knew each other from Chicago. This was a group we put together in L.A., because we were out there and we still wanted to just keep you just want to keep improvising. It's long form improvisation, folks, which means you take one suggestion and then you improvise for 40 minutes based on that suggestion. And the 5 of us, not to be less than humble, but we're good.
Oh, yeah.
We're as good as anybody. And man, we just could do magic. We could spin magic on stage because we're doing it right. All you have to do in improvisation is listen to what the person is saying. But people stop listening. It's as easy as a conversation if you just listen. All I've got to do is respond to the last thing you said. But if I'm already in my head spinning up some joke I'm going to tell, which is going to end the scene anyway. Anyway, so we're all sitting around because we got this group of people. And I remember we rehearsed in my house, my living room 4 or 5 times just to figure out what format we're going to do. And we're trying to figure out what we're going to call ourselves. And then Flynn just out of nowhere goes, how about Beer Shark Mice?
Makes no sense.
Because
right?
it makes no sense.
Yeah.
But it's nearly philosophical. Well, what's that mean? I don't know. Beer Shark Mice.
So who is the best at improv? You know, we talk
Ian
about
Roberts.
we love Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Ian Roberts.
Ian Roberts.
Ian Roberts from UCB. And Adam McKay. But Ian Roberts from UCB, he and 3 other people created UCB, the Upright Citizens Brigade, which is the famous comedy theater in L.A. and in New York. But I would just say, Steve Carell too. Steve Carell, I've never, ever witnessed Steve Carell not have a good improv scene.
Wow.
Because at Second City, you can watch after the show they improvise, right? I've never seen Carell fail. What's that like?
Oh, I know.
Poor guy.
And he's become a good actor.
He's never
too.
learned anything because he never fails.
Would you
He's
agree?
amazing.
I mean, we're in the golden age of television right now, and I hate to sound like a snob. I just don't watch a lot of network television because there's so many good shows that are streaming. But my kids also love the Goldbergs, and I know you were part of that, and Jeff Garland's part of that. And when I watch it, it's nostalgic for me because I was an 80s kid.
Yep.
But that's a well-done show.
Oh, the writing is so good. The writing is so good. And Wendy McClendon is just the best. You want to talk about a pro, and she's the best part of that show. And she drives it, man. She's amazing. Stone cold pro.
Do you like Garland?
Oh, yeah. I've known Jeff since... I've known Jeff since 1990. God, 1989. Yeah.
On the David Koechner is with us. He will be at the Comedy Club.
444-0008. I'm still trying to get word from Dina whether or not you can bring the kids out for office trivia.
Where's Tony? Is Tony in there?
Tony's on the couch.
Yeah,
Tony's on. Someone go talk to Tony.
Yeah, we'll find out. Rockstar's going to go talk to him.
But you've got shows tonight. You've got 3 shows tomorrow.
Yes.
Tickets anywhere from $10 to $40.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, that's cheap.
444-0008. We want to sell this thing out. Stardome.com for more information.
Stars only.
Stars only at
Yes.
Stardome. Yes. Who was the? Who made you laugh the most on The Office set?
On The Office, now see, you're doing television, and television is 23 and a half minutes.
Yep.
So you don't have time to screw around, right?
Right.
So, I mean, not like that. I'm going to sound like not a humble person. I come in dialed in. I'm not going to laugh because we have a job to do. And I've looked at the script.
Yeah.
The thing that might surprise you is if someone's improvising or they say it in a way you just like, where'd that line reading come from, right? But of course, probably Steve or Rainn Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we were talking earlier, like your character obviously worked.
Yes.
Creed's character obviously
Yes.
worked, but they were like, we're not going to overdo it. Like these guys work because we use them.
Yep.
You
As
know,
a
we
spice.
we just spice.
It's a spice, not a meat.
Yeah, which had to take a lot of discipline from them to do that. Now, I know you would rather have been in every episode, I'm sure.
I was supposed to do the entire last season.
Right.
I'm giving away a trivia question. But I was supposed to do the entire last season, but then we had to do Anchorman 2. And Greg Daniels said, well, I need him for the whole season. So my guess is they probably ran into some salary issues with some of the new people they hired. And they're like, well, we can't have him as a full-time person. So it was disappointing. But to me, like, there's always more, Like, if things happen, you're like, fine.
Yeah.
So I did a couple of shows a season. But when Packer would come in, it's like a storm's coming, right?
There's no doubt, yeah.
It's like, just get in the basement. Wait till this blows
Halpert
over.
loved him.
Halpert, what's up, Halpert?
You still queer?
Oh, my goodness. We all are, by the way. We all have all the parts to be queer. Everybody does.
From Tony, he said, let's keep it at around 15.
Okay.
Around 15.
Okay. You don't want to do any other media here. You're good with
round
us.
up, round
Hey,
down.
why
I'm
are
talking about
there
age. I'm talking about age.
Oh,
For tomorrow.
No,
Okay.
okay.
Let's keep it around 15.
We're not.
No, we're
15
doing
minutes.
You're my last stop. We're here for hours.
Okay, good, good. We've only we got you for an hour 15.
No, you know who would love it? Like, can we go ahead and send Luginbill a link? I think he would love to jump in.
Yeah. That'd be great. Why are there so many good actors / comedians from Kansas City? I spent my first time there a couple of years ago, but Sudeikis, you've got Stone Street, Rudd,
Riggle.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Heidi Gardner. There's David Cook.
Is it a good comedy scene there though, as far as the comedy clubs?
See, I'm not from Kansas City. I'm from a small town in Missouri. Those guys all did improv in high school, or they all went to Chicago and did it, or they did it at UCB in New York. So I don't know what it is, but we all do a big charity. The five of us, we host it. Myself, Heidi Gardner, who's on SNL now, Rob Riggle, Jason Sudeikis, Eric Stone Street, Paul Rudd, and me. Is there 6 of us now? Yeah. So then we bring in 50 celebrity friends. Well, that's what it was this year. It's grown so big. And so we do a big charity benefit for Children's Mercy Hospital. And I think we've raised, I can't remember the numbers, $15 or $25 million over the past 15 years. It's pretty amazing. And we take you for the whole weekend. You come in on Thursday, then we have a private donors thing at a house, and then the next day we all go visit the kids and the families at Children's Mercy Hospital. Then we do a softball game at Kauffman Stadium, which is Royals Field, and then we have that's Friday. What happens Friday? Oh, that's all day Friday. And then Saturday we go visit the kids again, and then then Saturday we have a huge show at the T-Mobile Center in Kansas City, where we put on a show, basically. And we have all kinds of, like Sheryl Crow's come the last 2 years. She's from Missouri. Like David Cook comes. He's from Kansas City. He'll sing. So it's kind of a variety show, but it's a humdinger.
Your favorite work for me personally, Thank You for Smoking.
Nice.
I just thought that movie was so well done. And unfortunately, I don't know how many people have seen that movie. Critically acclaimed, obviously. What was that experience like? And would you agree, like, I can tell you're off the cuff, obviously an improv guy, but as far as like quality movie, quality work, how proud of that project were you?
It's amazing. Now, that was based on a short book, and I think the source material really helped it because it had an A and a B story, and it had a beginning, middle, and end, which really helps you. So you've got great source material. But I always say about that movie could hold water. A lot of movies have leaks. That one doesn't. That one is perfect all the way through. It's Jason Reitman's first film, and his best one. How come I haven't been in all of his movies? I don't know.
You could play Clooney in Up in the Air, right?
He tried a couple times, but I was always busy, which is too bad. And you're ruffling feathers. Like I'm on a TV show, they won't let me off, and I know what his thing is. He doesn't. They're like, well, so get off. Like, well, I can't. I have a job. I'm not going to quit this job to work for you for 2 weeks. Anyway, where's my mind going? That show is, you're right, it's perfect. Now, there wasn't a lot of improv in that thing. It may have been around the table when the 3 merchants of death are doing our thing talking. But Aaron Eckhart, man, how great is he?
Oh, incredible.
That guy, you give him dialogue, it comes out of his mouth so smoothly. It's amazing.
He doesn't, The Company of Men.
My God, if you haven't seen The Company of Men, folks.
It's incredible.
It's a tough movie.
Yeah, you don't know if women are going to love it.
No. But man, how great is he in that?
And I just don't understand why he doesn't get more work. I mean, he does get work, but like he's not like an A-list lead guy.
Yeah. You've got to want it so badly. That's all you think about every second of every day, number one. He has had a very good career. Maybe he didn't choose to do television. I don't know. You never know. You kind of do look at it. And here's the other thing. How do any of us work anyway? When you actually get a job, when you look back, you're like, wow, I got hired.
So you're Citizen Kane.
Yes.
You could say, thank you for smoking. Piranha
3
double D
is because I have 5 kids.
Gotta feed them somehow, right?
We saw what was the Michael Caine quote on Jaws?
Michael Caine was, I take the script, if I'm on the first page and the last page, I say yes.
Oh my gosh. And he also said on Johnny Carson, I have a house in London, I have an apartment in New York, and I have a house in Malibu. Why not?
What was it like working with Gary Busey? Did you have any one-on-one? Because I've heard the guy's insane. Yeah.
He and I didn't have any scenes together. I met him at the premiere, and it was an interesting interaction.
We're going to do another segment with David. He said he'll stick around all day. We're not going to make him do that. As we go to break, Urology Centers of Alabama. 35 urologists on hand, 16 locations across Alabama. All your urological needs for prostate health, kidney stones, they take care of it. UrologyCentersAlabama.com to schedule an appointment. UrologyCentersAlabama.com. More with David Koechner next.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Start your day online with our website, nextroundlive.com, for the latest videos, podcasts, and college football stories. It's also a great way to stream the show or shop in the Next Round store. Stay connected by visiting nextroundlive.com.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit UrologyCentersAlabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Golf season is here, and if you're looking for a great golf course with affordable rates, you need to check out the newly renovated Woodward Golf Club. Woodward Golf Club is a semi-private club with membership opportunities available, but is also open to the public. You can book tee times online at this hidden gem by going to golfwoodward.com. For only $195 per month, you can enjoy unlimited golf 7 days a week. Membership includes discounted cart fees, unlimited range balls, and the use of our practice facilities. For more information on memberships and the course, check us out online at golfwoodward.com.
For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
David Koechner is going to stay with us for another segment. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. He's got his headphones all tangled up. Sorry about that, David. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Life can knock you down when you're doing things you love, like pickleball, golf, playing in the yard with the kids, or the things you hate, yard work and workouts. But they can get you healthy. PrecisionSportsOrtho.com/2024. Call 205-512-3885 to make an appointment. 205-512-3885. PrecisionSportsOrtho.com. We've given David a Coke and a donut. a Coke and a donut.
Hey, tough guys, at least on camera that you've worked with, and I think Carl Weathers, the late Carl Weathers, probably one of those guys. But I wanted to ask you, because that really affected my son that you just did a video for, because of Apollo Creed.
Yeah.
And it really, it stumbled him when he passed away.
Me too.
But I was going to ask you, Timothy Olyphant.
Oh, yeah.
Carl Weathers.
Yeah.
I mean, which one of those guys is more like their character on the screen?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd say Timmy. Timmy likes to talk slow. He's pretty pensive.
Do you think he can shoot?
He's always... I don't know, but you
Wouldn't
know
that be interesting to know,
you
though?
You know Carl can punch.
Oh, yeah.
Carl Weathers. Oh, my God. I did a movie with him, The Comebacks. He was the sweetest, and we stayed friends. You know, there's so many people who meet in show business like, let's get together. And it's all BS, but not with Carl. Man, and we would do conventions during the pandemic. And I'd see him, and we'd go out to dinner every time, and just the sweetest man. And, you know, I found myself coming to him when I wanted advice about anything, relationships or show business, and I could talk to Carl. And, I'm going to cry. So I couldn't make his memorial. But his partner called, and she told me about it, and I'd already had this gig, and I couldn't, 30 days you can't get out of it. And the best part was she said, Carl really liked you, and he always spoke very fondly of you. And so that meant the world to me. And boy, it was a shock. But gosh, as far as a good person, he's just up there. And it's easy to love Carl Weathers, I'll tell you that. He's just amazing, yeah.
Let's let him finish his last bite of donut. It's Comedy Club. Comedy Club this weekend.
444-0008. Shows tonight, 3 shows tomorrow, including Office Trivia. Do we know what time Office Trivia is?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock, and Tony says we need to keep it 15 and up. 15 and up. We've got nothing else on that. I was checking to see if we had anything.
What would you, and you can exclude your works because you should be very proud of your works.
Thank you, sir.
What would you say is the perfect piece of comedy? Could be a skit on Saturday Night Live, could be a movie, could be a TV show. Perfect piece of comedy.
Well, for me, it's Monty Python.
Oh yeah,
yeah. That was my thing, man. When I first saw the Holy Grail, Monty Python and the Holy Grail, I couldn't believe what was happening. Because I remember watching it after Saturday night. My parents used to go out dancing on Saturdays, and they weren't fans of any kind of comedy that was a bit racy, so they would not have allowed me to watch SNL. So I never told them about it, right? So I would be babysitting my 3 younger siblings, and I was not a kind brother. And I told my sister Cecilia once, I said, I want to apologize for all the horrible things I did. She goes, that's okay. I know that you were just mad at Mom and Dad. How amazing is that? Anyway, shout out to Cecilia. Anyway, I came on, Monty Python and the Holy Grail came on at like 1:30 in the, 12:30 at night, whatever it was. And the opening, and I missed the first part of the opening, the preamble, and I thought it was going to be a horror movie. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm going to watch this, because you just see this fog, dark in the fog, and then you hear cluck, 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 and then they're coming over the hill, and it's people knocking on coconuts as if they were riding a horse. Right. And it's the most beautiful thing I'd ever. There it is. There it is. It was so absurd and beautiful and so smart. That is probably what made me decide I'm going to do comedy.
Really?
Yes.
That moment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's so brilliant. And it's so well done, and they're all so good, and they're all playing multiple characters. It's to me, that's the greatest.
You mentioned COVID. How difficult was COVID for you? We did this show together for 377 days in my basement on the couch because corporate wouldn't let us come in before we were doing this. Right. But for an actor, comedian, writer, how difficult?
It's tough. You're home. At least my kids that were out of the house came back, so that was delicious, And I realized, I was present enough to realize this will never be happening again. This is the last time I get to have them with me this close, this much time. So that was good. But otherwise, you just take the government money and thank God for it, right? You get through it. And I wish I had spent my time more effectively, efficiently in terms of like writing. You got time to write a script. You got no excuses. But then you go about your small day. Remember how small your day became?
Yeah.
Going to get a coffee was a big deal.
I thought and it seems like you took a lot of positives out of it. But I think there were a lot of positives.
Yeah.
Do you care about football? You went to Missouri. Do you care about SEC football?
It's got Bear Bryant's hat.
Oh, I know. I didn't know was that planned?
That's not for Bear Bryant.
Okay.
I'm not, sorry guys, I'm not a Roll Tide.
That's fine.
It's M-I-Z.
Z-O-U.
Z-O-U, baby.
That's right.
But I'm not a huge college football guy. So I'm more NFL.
More NFL.
Yeah.
So you're Chiefs?
Oh, God. It's for my life. Now, I've been a Chiefs fan for 50 years.
Yeah.
When I was 10, I was watching in my grandmother's living room with my cousins from Kansas City. We're watching the then longest game in football history, Chiefs versus the Dolphins.
I'm a Dolphins fan.
Stewart, what's his name?
Dawson.
Not
Lynn Dawson was the quarterback.
The kicker, wide right. So we lost that game.
Yep. Now, I'm happy you did.
Yeah.
Do you know Eric Stone Street well? Because he's a big Chiefs fan too.
Yeah. Me, Stone Street, Riggle, we're all the same.
Yeah,
You
Rod
know, we're
Riggle?
all- yeah. Me and Rudd, big Chiefs fans.
Yeah.
And
Are we
guys-
going to bring on?
Luginbill said he didn't have a question.
Hey, what's going on?
This is
I got one.
Okay, you got one. This is ESPN's Tom Luginbill. He is a college football analyst, ESPN. He's a big fan of yours. He was excited you were on before him.
Whammy.
Whammy.
Nice. Dig deeper.
Hey, man,
give me one more. Dig
it's a
deeper.
pleasure.
Fill those lungs up. Give me a full whammy. There you go. He peaked the mic. Well done, sir. Well done.
Hey, I've got to ask a question. I told Ryan Brown when we were texting and he said you were coming on yesterday. I said, ask him if he's still seeing Dorothy Mantooth.
I will smash your face into a car windshield and then take your mother Dorothy Mantooth out for a nice seafood dinner and never call her again.
Now you got to ask. Now you got to ask yourself: are bats still the chicken of the cave?
Yes, sir. You know what they call bats, don't you? Chicken of the cave. And then Will, and nobody says that.
Absolutely nobody says
Tell you
that.
what.
Hey, I have to ask
Yes.
you, David, I have to ask you about one of I think your most underrated movies, which featured so many stars that weren't quite stars yet. And I've been watching Shane Gillis's series on Netflix, Tires. Have you watched it?
I have not.
Okay, you need to check it out because it is The Waiting television version, but it's instead of being in like an Applebee's, that type of restaurant, it's in a tire and oil change center.
Yeah.
But it's the exact same concept. It's fantastic. But how much did you enjoy that role? I think that movie is so vastly underrated, and over the years, it's grown on I think so many people.
Yeah, if you're in the restaurant business, you have to watch it because everybody that works in a restaurant watches that thing. I'd worked in a ton of restaurants throughout my life. I've never drawn one unemployment check. I've been working since I was 7. My dad made me go to work at 7, and I think he thought he was giving me a break. Because I'm pretty sure he started working at 5 for his dad.
That's right. He'll let you wait.
So throughout high school, and then when I had my time in Chicago, I always worked in restaurants. I could walk into any restaurant anywhere, and I could work any station. I've been a bartender, I've been a cook, I've been a waiter, so I know this whole world very well. So when I did audition for that one, I do remember this. When I auditioned for it, the casting director was crying. I do remember that because I put my foot up on a chair really close to her. So you can imagine. So she's looking at what my dad would say, croth area. My dad couldn't say the word crotch.
So he said croth?
He couldn't. Yeah, he said, right there in the croth area. Because I think my dad thought crotch was a dirty word.
Okay, all right.
Right there in the croth area. So I had my foot up on this chair, and man, she lost it. And I was like, well, that's mine.
Yeah.
It's one of those few times. And guess what? It wasn't. They had an offer out to somebody else who didn't take it, and then it was mine.
Wow.
So anyway, me and Justin Long improvised everything on that.
Really?
I love that kid. He was in Anchorman. His part got cut. He is a sweetheart. He is devastatingly funny. He's so unassuming and so sweet. I just love that guy, man. He's amazing.
It's a great movie, man.
What did Luginbill's talking about The Waiting. What about 40-Year-Old Virgin? What did that do for your career as far as, because I know you guys network and you meet people through different channels, but that was another early on, to me, comedy is so difficult to have quality comedy. I thought that movie was great. I thought the cast was incredible, but what did it do for your career?
You don't know. I don't know. There's just more.
Is that where you met Steve, though?
No.
Okay.
I met Steve at Second City in Chicago. So I'd known him since 1989 or 90. So, but that's how that came about too. Like they had that little scene in the therapist's office, and that's his wife Nancy who's running the therapy thing, and Apatow was directing. And I remember him lobbing in a few jokes that really worked very well. So that was just another fun day for me to play with friends, because at that time I was in the thick of it. Like I had stuff going all the time, and of course in your mind it's never going to slow down.
But that's such a quick scene. But that probably took a day or two, right?
That took one day.
Okay.
Yeah. But I got some lines. I got some pops. I'll tell you what, I'll show up. You put me in, I'll show up.
We know that.
Yeah.
All right, as David leaves us, and we'll go talk some college football with Luginbill in a moment, but let's remind everybody about what's coming up this weekend at the Comedy
so
Club.
we've got multiple shows tonight, 444-0008. You can go to stardome.com. Also, 3 shows tomorrow, including at 4 o'clock, that matinee, The Office Trivia. You're going to come out as Todd Packer.
Hosted by the real Todd Packer.
And we're going to go 15 and up.
Okay.
You don't have to have an ID of 15, so probably 13 and up.
If your parents want to bring you and tell the lie that you're 15.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I'll tell you one last story.
No, you're pleased.
I remember when I would go to the Missouri State Fair every year with my dad, because he would display in the agricultural section because he made livestock trailers. And so I remember if you're 11 and up, you have to pay. So I remember we're going through the gate, and they go, how old is the boy? And my dad looks at me and goes, you're 10, right? And I remember thinking, my dad knows that I will lie.
To save him money.
And he's trusting me to lie.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, well, this solidifies our relationship, Dad, because I'm going to lie the rest of my life. So, yeah.
Fantastic. David, it has been a true pleasure. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you. God bless, guys.
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you. God bless you as well.
Right on.
Luginbill sticks around, talk some college football next.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness. Let's face it, a home is one of the most powerful assets you can have, and our friends at Mortgage Right want to help you build wealth through home ownership. Mortgage Right is all about providing competitive rates, a variety of loan products, and a multitude of resources for a seamless home buying experience. They treat their borrowers like family and are always looking to bring more happy homeowners under their roof. See more by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR today and start living. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, equal housing lender. For a great experience in golf, go to Bent Brook, just off I-459 in the Birmingham area. You've got 27 holes where you can play your 18 holes 6 different ways. Open 7 days a week with 5 sets of tees that makes golf enjoyable for any level golfer. You get complimentary GPS on every golf cart, and the AU Victory bent grass greens play as pure as any in the area. Bent Brook continues to improve with upgraded greens and redesigned holes. Book that next tee time right now. BentBrook.com. BentBrook.com.
Maybe you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, or TikTok. While we're changing the game yet again, Tyler's Telegrams has been developed exclusively for you.
Hi, this is the lovable boy you know as Tyler the Intern. I'm a businessman now. I will come directly to your door and tell you every time a new piece of TNR content drops. For the low, low price of $740,000, you can be notified by me, one of the biggest stars of the Next Round, about that thing you missed. Sure, the rest of those social media services are free, but so is radio, and we all know how well that's trending.
Tyler's Telegrams is currently operating exclusively in Bibb County. Other social media platforms are available everywhere.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make, so it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Lisa Zeig, Vice President Mortgage Loan Officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner, making it easy to buy with confidence. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, it is the hour presented by Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. They're open for lunch right now. Go by that Champy's. Get that great chicken fingers, the chicken, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, great po' boys, great sides, all of that. Champy'sChicken.com. That is Champy'sChicken.com. Sterling and the gang keeping you fed right there at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. You find Sterling right there at 119 in Alabaster, Champy'sChicken.com. All right. Tom Luginbill back with us now. He got in on the tail end of the David Koechner interview. You know, somebody in our mybookie.ag chat room, Troy, says, imagine, because you've been to our studio here, Luginbill.
Sure.
We were in a building, office building. There are other offices around here. Imagine somebody like, I was walking to work today and Todd Packer walked in my office building. What is going on here?
Dude, that was great. What a treat, man. I appreciate you letting me in on the tail end of that thing, man. I think he's so underrated and so undervalued. And that was a lot of fun. And he was super playful about it, too. That's what's so good. You know, it's kind of like I've gotten to know Johnny from the Karate Kid, right? A little bit.
Williams Atkins, really?
Yeah. And through a charity event I did a number of years with Kevin Carter. And one of the things that is so cool about him is he's been like Emmy nominated as a screenwriter. He's got a bunch of credits and important things that nobody knows about. But he's smart enough to never abandon exactly who he is, right? And it doesn't bother him at all. He embraces it. And I think that's so cool because you'd think a lot of actors after a while would be like, all right, enough of this. I want none of it. And they'd get jaded and they'd be frustrated and they would treat people bad. It's the exact opposite. And I loved how I brought up a couple of those things with David. And he literally recited the actual line from each movie perfectly.
Well,
it was great.
And Luke's, when we had him in before, I said, hey, my daughter's up here. She wants to get a picture. Do you care? And he's like, of course I don't. Like, what kind of a dick would say no? And we actually
had one.
We threw some out there. And
you know a few?
Yeah. And then the funny thing is he's sitting here. He had no idea that we had a visual thing going on. And so we were asking about certain comedians and actors he's worked with, and he's doing all these, loser, F him stuff.
He's a great guy.
And he didn't realize that and we went to break, and he's like, oh, damn, we're on camera?
That's right. That was right after you asked him, was it Gary Busey you asked him about?
Gary Busey, Jeff Garland.
Like, Gary Busey, great guy.
It was good stuff.
Good. That was awesome. I'm happy for you guys. Thanks for letting me in on it. That was fantastic.
Okay, so before we get to your new shows, because I just saw your text and you said you've got plenty of great new shows to recommend to our audience, which is awesome. We just got back from SEC Media Days. It's really interesting, Luginbill. Everybody's talking about, and I know the rosters of Georgia and Texas are loaded, but Alabama's just kind of that sleeping team. I saw you can get them at 14-1 to win the SEC right now, which is incredible. Or 14-1 to win the national championship.
National championship, yeah.
Still, though, like how are we using the term sleeper in the same sentence with Alabama football right now?
Well, the only thing I would say, Luginbill, is the theme out there, and Brown, correct me if I'm wrong, when you talked about Alabama, it was the passing of the torch from Saban to DeBoer. But talking to media members, none of them out there were like, I think Alabama's got a chance to win this conference championship.
Well, that surprises me. It really does. And the reason why it surprises me is I know what they've got coming back. I know what they've got coming in. One of the features of that offense actually revolves around what I think is Jalen Milroe's greatest strength, and that's the vertical deep ball. And the proof in the pudding with the sustained history of success with Kalen DeBoer, no matter where he has ever been, to me is I don't know why anybody would have any doubts about the marriage between Kalen DeBoer. And I know there's changeover. I know there's crossover. But that one seems just foolish to me a little bit.
You just spent most of this week at ACC Media Days. Luginbill will be on the primetime ACC game in the booth this year, and I'm as excited about the ACC as I've been in a while. I think it's much deeper right now than it has been. It's not just two teams. Yeah. Miami is the fascinating one to me, though, and they open the season at Florida. It is week one of the most intriguing games on the board. I mentioned this yesterday, and I never got back around to it. If you start getting rid of everybody in front of him that played last year, Cam Ward is the returning. Now, he's going to be in a different offense, obviously, but statistically the best returning quarterback in America this year.
Well, yes, and ironically, he's not going to be in a different offense. He is going to be in a version of the spread and the air raid. And so I was speaking this week when I was asked about it. I said, oftentimes when you've gone through the transfer process, very few quarterbacks have gone through the transfer process having been as successful at the next spot as they were at the previous, if not more. Okay? He goes from Incarnate Word in a version of the air raid to Washington State in a version of the air raid, now down to Miami and Shannon Dawson's version of it. The familiarity, the terminology, the leadership, and by the way, what an impressive kid. Impressive in the same way Jalen Milroe is when you talk to him. Big smile on his face, air of confidence, knows the position that he's in, carries the weight of the responsibility. And you're right, Brownie. The ACC, first of all, it's going to be driven by quarterback play because you're going to have some really highly productive quarterbacks in the league, top to bottom. But 2 weeks ago, when I was covering Big 12 Media Days, and then obviously watching and listening in on the SEC Media Days, and then this last week with ACC Media Days, this one theme keeps coming up. This question keeps being asked: how many playoff caliber teams are there in the ACC, or are there in the SEC, or the Big Ten, what have you? I think that's the wrong question, because you know what the real answer to that question is? Combined amongst all of them, probably 6, like legitimate teams that you say could win the national championship. So the question isn't how many playoff caliber teams do you have? The question is, by conference, how many teams can you get to double-digit wins within each conference to put yourself in a position to get one of those 8 through 12 seeds? That's the question. Like, if you could, let's just take the ACC as you brought up. If a Virginia Tech, a Miami, an NC State, and a Clemson, and a Florida State could go 10-2 or better, which is not out of the realm of responsibility of possibility. Now you're all of a sudden in that position and in that discussion late when it comes to seeding. But to your original point, the ACC's got to step up and be big boys when Miami plays Florida, when NC State takes on Tennessee in week 2, all right? When Clemson takes on Georgia. You can't change the narrative unless you start winning those games.
I know this is schedule dependent, but I am one of those that believes, and we just had a guest on, Todd Furhman, that said the same thing when he's talking about a dark horse in the SEC. I think Mike Elko and Texas A&M, nobody's talking about them either. But if I ask you, better chance at 10 wins this year, USC and Lincoln Riley in the Big Ten, or Mike Elko and A&M in year 1 in the SEC for Elko?
Oh, Mike Elko. Mike Elko and Texas A&M. In fact, I didn't even have to give a thought to that. Player for player, roster management, roster size, roster depth. If Connor Wigman stays healthy, I think Texas A&M could have a fantastic year. SC is nowhere near playing with Texas A&M's personnel on defense, at least not yet. And I know Lincoln Riley made a lot of statements this week up at Indianapolis about the emphasis on defense and how they've got to get to a certain point, and they're going to get there. Well, I haven't heard him say that many times over the course of the years, at least not publicly, but they're not there just yet. And so I think Texas A&M is a great dark horse pick. But as with everything, it's kind of like Tyler Shuck at Louisville. Really productive when he was playing, but he's been hurt his entire career. So if you're Jeff Brom and you're Louisville and you got a lot of returning components, you did a nice job in the transfer portal, you could be looking at another potential 9 or 10 win season, but not if the quarterback gets hurt. So I think Connor Wigman's health is huge.
Yeah, I don't think it's an overstatement to say if Notre Dame beats Texas A&M, they're probably in the playoffs. And if Texas A&M beats Notre Dame, I don't know if I could say probably, but that Texas A&M game could be for a playoff spot. I firmly believe that. I think that Notre Dame, I know it's the first game, but it's such a swing game for both those teams.
It's a huge swing game, but with a 12-team playoff, I think it's so important to always remember what happens in the middle of the season and late in the season. And I always go back and reference that 2014 Ohio State team because they're the prime example. But I've always told you guys who you play, when you play, and where you play. And all of those things are different at different times of the year. So, yeah, will it matter? And I feel that same way about, Clemson in Georgia. What if that sucker's a 21-17 game? Either way, it doesn't really matter. Are we looking at either one of those teams and saying, they probably are on the outside looking in? No, we're not. And so what you can't do is go out and lay an egg. That's the thing I think is important.
So the more I look at this Oregon team, the scarier they get for me. And I love Dylan Gabriel. Just, this, everywhere he's been, Luginbill, he's so productive. I don't think people realize how good he was for Venables last year. But where are you, Dan Lanning, year 3, with some of maybe the in-game mistakes he made over his first couple of years, where Oregon will line up coming into the Big Ten?
Yeah, and I think you could say in-game mistakes or in-game risks, right? And if those risks go his way, we're not having the conversation, and they didn't, unfortunately, in a couple of instances. But he didn't back off from what he does, and I love that because it's got conviction, and he dug his heels in. And quite honestly, of the 4 teams coming into the Big Ten, they are the most well-equipped team to be a true threat to the Ohio State Buckeyes or the Michigan Wolverines or Penn State, or whoever it may be. The question you have to ask yourself, if you guys are talking about Texas A&M, well, if Iowa can cross the 50-yard line on offense, look out, because their entire roster is back. Literally the entire roster virtually is back. They're going to get the quarterback back. They're going to get the tight end back. So they could be a problem. But Oregon is just so explosive. That's the thing. It's like, you get yourself in an in-space matchup, and they spread you thin, and they start going, and they are difficult to keep pace with. They're not the type of team you want to get in a track meet with. And I think up front, offensively and defensively, they are ahead of Washington right now. I think they are certainly ahead of UCLA and USC. So you've heard me say before, they're going from a non-line of scrimmage league to a line of scrimmage league, and that's going to matter.
So we started with entertainment. We'll end with entertainment. I just finished Presumed Innocent on Apple last night. I thought it was really well done.
Same ending as the movie, though?
It is. I don't want to give anything away. I'm just going to leave
it. No, we don't want to give anything away.
But were you okay with the ending?
It's a great adaptation.
Yes. I thought it was better than the movie.
Okay.
I'm watching House of the Dragon. I don't think it. I'm not. It's very okay. And I'm going back and watching The Americans, much like the Browns are. But you said you have a list of shows that you can share with us.
Well, I mentioned one with David on there in Tires, and if you haven't seen it,
I've seen it.
You like Shane Gillis at all? It's fantastic.
I thought
it
was really good. Shane Gillis is really funny. I like him. Yeah.
Well, you know why it's good? Because he doesn't care about offending anybody. He's like, grow up, have a thick skin, have the ability to laugh and not feel like you're going to get canceled.
You're right. He's been canceled, which is awesome because he doesn't care about ever getting canceled again.
That's right. Yeah.
He doesn't care. And like I said, it's like the waiting version, only in a tire and oil change center. A bunch of slaps that, have no ambition to do anything else, and all they do is jack around at work. I mean, it's fantastic. But since you're on Apple, and I thought Presumed Innocent was fantastic. I love the way they approached it because it is different than the movie. It's better than the movie. And I thought it was really good. But have you watched Dark Matter?
First episode, I was on an edible, so I need to go back. That's one of those I don't need to watch on edibles.
Okay.
Because you do have to follow.
Do not watch on edibles.
Yeah.
Do not watch on alcohol.
Right.
Just watch it. Let me tell you what it is. It's one of those shows that whoever came up with the concept in their mind, that's one thing. And that would have been difficult in and of itself to do. Then to somehow get it on paper, right, and make it make sense would be another heroic effort. But then they made it work on film. And it's really, really well done. You got to stick with it. And yeah, if that first episode doesn't have you hooked, I don't know what will. That first episode is really,
you
really
saw
good.
The Americans, though, right?
Yeah, but I never finished it all the way through. I kind of fell off like I did towards the end of like Walking Dead and like
Me too.
24 after a while. Like
Yeah.
I was like, okay, it's the same thing every single year.
I
you
know. I did too. Dr. Brett McCabe, local sports psychologist, told Lance and I, he's like, I think it's the best series ever done. And the ending is as good as any series ending I've ever seen. So I went home and told my wife. So we started back from scratch, and I am now into season 4. I had forgotten how good the show was.
Yeah, show's great.
It's a really good
I'm like
show.
you. I didn't see the ending either, so I'm looking forward to watching it for a second time.
Do you want my review on Deadpool and Wolverine?
Sure.
Now, I said this real quick before you get to it, Luginbill. If Wolverine, because I loved Logan, it was my favorite comic book movie ever. If Hugh Jackman,
it's my number 2.
If Hugh Jackman would decapitate Ryan Reynolds' character in Deadpool, I would go see it. That character drives me crazy.
You don't like Deadpool?
No. My son loves it.
Oh,
I did not like
God.
it. No. Okay.
You should resign your post immediately and go crawl a hole somewhere. Let's just say it's really, really, really good. I think I need to see it a second time to determine if it's great. All right. Now, the cameos are so well done and so fitting. That part was fantastic. The action and the fight scenes, phenomenal. There are some spots where it lags, and there's some spots where some of the jokes fall flat. The concept of it is really, really good. But if you are a fan of Wolverine, and I was with you, The Dark Knight's my number 1 superhero movie, Logan's number 2. If you are a fan of Wolverine, they give Wolverine something that everybody has been wishing he had since Hugh Jackman took on the character in 1999. And that's all I will say about it.
What a tease.
But it's fun, and it's enjoyable, and it's what it should be, right? And if you don't like Deadpool or Ryan Reynolds, you ain't going to like him.
Hey,
you ain't going to like it.
Real quick before we roll, did you watch Horizon, Kevin Costner's first chapter? Because I finally saw it last week.
Okay, so this is what happened to me. And I'm a big Western guy. I'm a big Costner guy. Sign me up for all the Taylor Sheridan shows, all of it. I'm in the theater 3 days after it opens in a late afternoon Sunday. What are you yelling at, dogs? So anyway, I'm in the theater, and I'm an hour in. Thunderstorm rolls through, lose power, evacuate the theater.
Oh.
And so I'm waiting. I'm not going to go back because I know it's 3 hours. I'm not going to go back. I'm waiting till it comes somewhere where I can stream it because I do want to watch it. Now, tell me what you thought.
You can stream it. I thought it wasn't nearly as bad as people thought. The problem for me was you've got such a big cast and you had such a big budget. I don't think you've got a lot of good actors. It seemed more like the production and the acting was something you would see. This is bad in like a Hallmark movie. But like the overall,
or a miniseries.
Yeah. The overall, like North and South was as good as probably Horizon.
Right, yeah.
But
Lonesome Dove.
Lonesome Dove was great. But it's worth the watch. It's not like, I think it's average, but it's worth the watch.
Is it a setup for the second one? Is it a setup though? Like, could we be sitting there going, like, for example, Captain America, the first Avengers, I thought was a total setup movie, very average. And then every Captain America they did after that was awesome.
The thing is, you've got these journeys from different people, and so you've still got these characters sitting there where they haven't hit an arc yet, and it just the way the sequences, it was kind of strange the way they tied everything in. But yes, to answer your question, it is set up for number 2 if they can even get there.
Listen to my dogs. You see, Brown Santa, aka the UPS man, shows up, and guess what's being delivered? Amazon packages. Oh, wife says not Amazon. Athleta.
Somebody spent some money.
Kate Hudson needs some money, right?
Somebody spent some money.
Yeah, right.
I have never seen levels used as a decorative piece. I am so fascinated by that wall behind you.
Isn't that kind of cool? You want to see it closer?
Yeah. I've never.
So this is my wife did this. So yeah, she collects all these levels. And she puts them all over the place. We even got 2 right there we don't have a space for.
I think that is fantastic.
I do
that
too.
It's really a cool look, yeah.
What's the inspiration?
Cool.
You're hanging a picture and she has it up against the wall and she's like, damn, that looks pretty good. Let's add more.
I ain't hanging any pictures. I'm always told that when I hang the pictures, I hang them too high. And then she has to do the whole entire thing.
Yeah, let her do
well,
it.
We got, see, it's always 5 o'clock at the Luginbills, which is barely true, whether that's 5 a.m. or otherwise. You'll be my glass of wine, and I'll be your shot of whiskey. Let's go. That's a happy marriage.
True love, Luke.
True love. She's the better of the Luginbills. We all know that. To nail it. Luke's, thank you very much. Have a great weekend. Always fun talking with you.
Fun to talk to you guys, too. Have a great one. See ya.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. ESPN's Tom Luginbill with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline. We're going to get to trash in a moment. First, Inverness Golf Club.
Yeah, hey, look, if you're a golfer and you haven't found a club for you, check out Inverness. You're going to absolutely love it. We've got a lot of friends that are members there. Brown played it not long ago. Take a tour of the unbelievable club. Call Erin. Spoke with her yesterday. A lot of exciting stuff going on out there. 205-991-8608. That's 205-991-8608. Online, ICCalabama.com. They've got memberships that fit everyone from the social, including the resort-style pool complex, full-service cabana and bar, live music on Friday nights, Sunday brunch, golf, beautiful course, currently expanding the driving range, maybe relocated or retired. Inverness, a great place to network. Also, childcare is a massive plus. Best days happen in Inverness. Again, to take a tour, call Aaron, 205-991-8608 or ICCalabama.com.
Trash is next on the next round.
Everything Alabama, all the time. Subscribe and set alerts at Roll Tide Pods on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, you. School's coming back. Time to gear up. And at New Balance Birmingham, we know what's up. Before hitting the books, check out the looks. Come together at New Balance Birmingham on Highway 280, right next to Chick-fil-A. New Balance Birmingham, we got now.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing. If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Before we get to trash, a reminder, the lock every single day brought to you by Hemp Hill Services. If it's not running right, draining right, flowing right, Hemp Hill Services is the number to call. I mentioned the other day my downstairs unit just quit working. Scared to death I was going to have to replace it. And Hemp Hill came out and said, I got some great news for you. It's just the capacitor. That's what you want to hear from them. Their service was amazing. They were right there. 205-229-2090, residential or industrial, 229-2090. Hemp Hill Services bringing you the lock.
Yeah, lock 1-1 last night. We had the Mets over the Braves, but we did have the Angels over the A's. So we split last night. We're still 10-5. Second half of the Major League Baseball season. We're up 50 units. Jump on board. 2 more plays up and available. We're less than 6 days, or we're right at 6 days away from being able to wager on real live football.
Look out now.
So looking forward to that. But yes, jump on board, lanceslock.com.
All right, Rockstar, if you do not mind, we have waited long enough. Let's hit that big button.
Now, extinctions, I don't have to tell you, have been part of the natural history of the world for millennia. And man-made extinctions have even happened before. I guess we hunted the dildo into extinction. But the dodo, rather. Forgive me. I'm having trouble with my words today.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
It is buying season. Our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. They were veteran founded here in Birmingham, offer loans throughout the country, and while the area they serve may have grown, their commitment to Birmingham and veterans has not changed. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. You can get more information going to their website, mortgageright.com/TNR. Call their Birmingham office, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Rockstar put together a list of really good tweets. These are really, really good, by the way.
Oh, really good tweets. Is there any thread to them, or they're just what you think are funny?
No, they're just random
just
observations, almost shower thought.
They all make sense to me. Okay, I was talking about House of the Dragon. How about this? I love trying to follow the plot of an HBO show where the main characters' names are Aegon, Rhaenys, Rhaenyra, Aemon, Eric, etc.
There's a pair of twins. One's name is Eric with an E, the other is Eric with an A.
And this is House of Dragon or Game of Thrones? Yeah. Game of Thrones was pretty confusing too, though, right?
Well, that's what's so funny is Rockstar was like, there was too many characters. I couldn't. This is more confusing than Game of Thrones.
Oh, it has, because the names like the Rhaenyra, the Rhaenys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all the names are just like, well, which one's Jace? Which one's? Okay, that's
I am so lost. And then they're not like normal names either. Not like Fred and Tony and Bob and Frank.
Here's
Tony.
one. Every marriage has one person who throws things out, the other who was totally planning to use that thing later.
Oh.
You never wear this shirt. I'm going to this summer. I am.
I'm not necessarily a pack rat. I just don't throw things away. And my wife, like clothes Rockstar is talking about, they'll just disappear out of the closet.
Yeah. Well, you told me her, and it makes a lot of sense.
She had a system.
But the good thing is now I've got Jason Jack. So, like, if I...
Yeah, hand me down?
Yeah, I just give them clothes.
Yeah.
Here's another one. If you see someone crying, always ask them if it's because of their haircut.
How mean is that?
That is awful.
You're not that fat.
Yes.
Golly.
Oh, you must be crying because of that terrible haircut.
The final two are spot on for me. I wish I was as tired at bedtime as I am at 2 p.m. on any given day.
No doubt. Like, if I try to do stuff in the afternoon and try not to just go home. If I go home in the afternoon, it is fighting a nap the rest of the day for me. Until dinner, basically, I'm fighting a nap.
Tell me if you agree with this one. Yellow Gatorade is best when you're thirsty. Orange is best for hangovers. Blue is best for hydration. Red is best for lunch. I'm not going to explain the science behind this.
I guess so. I've never really ranked the colors. Like when I drink Powerade, well, we've got... I like all the zeros. I like all the zeros.
Yeah.
I like the red, blue, and purple.
And
they're all good.
Grape, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how I would even do a power ranking. I think I would have grape on top, though. That's the one you drink most often.
Yeah, red and purple are mine, but I'm saying if I had a lunch right now, I'd drink red with it.
You would drink red with your lunch?
Yeah. I would too. Yeah, fruit punch is my go-to.
Yeah, okay.
So Japan has never been a destination known for hiking up prices for foreigners, but over tourism, fueled by a combination of pent-up post-COVID demands and the weak local currency, has recently prompted restaurants in the country to consider the merits of differential pricing. Now, according to Shoga, I'm not even going to try. He runs a all-you-can-eat seafood grill in Tokyo. Quote, people say it's discrimination, but it's really hard for us to serve foreigners, and it is beyond our capacity. Now, he maintains that he doesn't charge tourists extra. Instead, he offers a $6.50 discount to locals. He goes on to say, we need the pricing system for cost reasons. Now, Japan only completely reopened in the fall of 22, following the removal of the pandemic travel restrictions. This year, spurred by a weak yen that has fallen to its lowest level against the dollar in decades, tourists are back in big numbers. Visitor arrivals to Japan hit a record 17.7 million in the first half of 2024 alone, on track to break the country's 2019 record of 31.8 million tourists.
See, if I had a choice, I would go to Japan over China, over...
Well, I think I would too.
I would too, but let me ask
Japan's
you, would you rather go to the Cayman Islands or Japan?
Cayman Islands.
Yeah, not even close. For me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I just wonder, like, I think a lot of times when you go internationally, the food you think is their food is an Americanized version of their food, right? And you actually start eating their food and it's not like what you've ever had.
Right.
So I think sometimes you're disappointed by that. Like, I've heard a lot of people talk about eating pasta in Italy and how I was playing golf. God, I cannot remember.
The Sopranos got a great scene with this.
Oh, yeah?
When they go over.
Yeah.
And, and Paulie Walnuts is so pissed. He's like, this is not marinara.
Yeah, I was playing.
And it's like authentic Italian
I
food.
know. I was playing golf with a guy the other day, and he had been to Italy, and he was talking about how, he said, Brennan, I ate pasta every chance I got over there, and I didn't gain a pound. He said, because it is so pure and fresh, the pasta you get over there.
And you walk everywhere.
Well, and that helped. But he was just like, the taste difference is incredible.
You ever seen somebody walk to the Olive Garden?
From my parking spot, yeah.
Heck yeah.
Belgian tourist suffered third-degree burns on his feet during a visit to Death Valley National Park over the weekend. Now, according to the National Park Service, 42-year-old man was taking a walk on the sand dunes when he lost his flip-flops.
Oh.
First of all, don't go walk on the sand dunes with flip-flops.
That was a bad choice.
You know how that is?
Yes.
The air temperature at the time was 123 degrees, and officials said the ground temperature, quote, would have been much hotter. Now, a Death Valley National Park ranger told the LA Times ground temperature can reach 170 to 180 degrees, is known to get as high as 200 degrees. What would you guys just guesstimate if you're down at the beach on a 95-degree day, if you're walking on the asphalt?
Yep.
Sometimes the sand is too hot. It's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
my
it
God.
is.
But the hottest is probably, like, you always misjudge the length of the boardwalk, and you try to do it, from the pool to the beach barefoot.
And then you run where people are showering off.
Yeah,
and you jump on that.
Stand there for a second, let it cool down. Yeah.
Now, the man's family called for help. Other park visitors came to aid to carry him to the nearby parking lot to await paramedics. Officials said he suffered, quote, full-thickness burns on his feet and was in significant pain. Helicopter was unable to fly and safely land in the area. Instead, Graham ambulance rushed the man to a higher elevation where temperatures were slightly cooler, around 109 degrees.
Yeah, it's a lot cooler there.
Which allowed for a helicopter to land and fly him to a Las Vegas hospital. It's bad when your feet are so burned, they've got to transport you via helicopter.
Yeah.
He went full thickness. Wait, what? Full thickness. That's seems like it's the whole part of your foot.
So you think it was down to like...
Oh, like, I mean, 30 degree, like, just imagine, walking on hot sand. That's nothing compared to what he was walking on.
Okay, so how do you shower for the next...
Oh, God.
Bandage your feet up.
Awful. I guess that grows back. I mean, your skin grows back eventually,
Yeah,
right?
but it's going to be a little weak.
A couple set to be married this weekend got into an argument over signing a prenup agreement that turned violent, resulted in the would-be bride's arrest for domestic battery, according to court records.
I am just going to go book by cover and say this marriage did not require a prenup, but that's
I would have
that's
to.
very stereotypical book by cover to me.
Do you remember Chris Kaman that played for the Clippers?
I do, yes.
His hot sister.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Investigators allege that Molly Rose Hogan, that you see right there, 26 years old, and the male victim were engaged in prenups, a quarrel late on Sunday night in their St. Petersburg, Florida home. Now, the victim told cops that Hogan grabbed him around the head, struck him on the chest, torso, back, and legs, causing, quote, multiple physical injuries. The attack, the man said, was prompted by a heated argument over signing a prenup agreement prior to the marriage. I'd love to see the agreement, though.
Yeah, I get the Dodge Charger. You get the trailer.
I got Eric Stoltz more than
Eric
Chris Kaman.
Stoltz?
Yeah.
Chris Elliott.
Yeah.
Scott's right. It is
Yeah,
Chris
but
Elliott.
Chris Elliott does have a lot of Chris Kaman in him.
Yeah.
See if you can pull Chris Kaman in a minute, Rocky. Now, police allege that one witness, the victim's brother, was bitten on the arms by Hogan as he sought to stop her from battering his sibling. You're going to be shocked here. Alcohol appears to have been a factor in the 11:30 p.m. confrontation.
You do not say.
Hogan was arrested for domestic battery and simple battery, booked into county jail on the misdemeanor counts. A wedding registry remains online, welcoming friends and family to join the, quote, epic journey.
Yeah, she's got some Chris Kaman in her.
There it is.
That was Chris Kaman. All right, so this one right here looks like Chris Kaman trying to play.
Chris Kaman would have been a great extra, like in Contagion, like he just got the virus.
Fresh.
Yeah.
He was not a good-looking guy, Chris King.
No, not at all. That's all I got, by the way.
That is trash. Brought to you by
our friends at Mortgage Right. It is buying season. Before you take the next steps on a new home purchase or refinance, talk with the team at Mortgage Right. No cost or obligation to find out what you qualify for. Call 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
Why can I not say his name? The character that Scott just said.
Chris Elliott?
Chris Elliott. Yes, thank you. I could not say his name.
He's great in Schitt's Creek.
No, Chris Elliott's a funny guy. Like, he's pretty... I can't think of a role I saw him where he's just not funny, but how bad does it suck that you're like... Your typecast is the weird, ugly, funny guy. That's all you're ever going to play.
That check still cash.
Yeah, that check. I mean, you're going to get a check every time. But
got to embrace it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're the weird, like, because I'm watching the Americans again, and one of my least favorite characters on there is I must be having a stroke. I can't say names right now.
Man or woman?
The girl that's Martha, the girl that is the secretary for the FBI, and he's having to pretend to be her husband.
Yeah.
And her whole role is she's the ugly girl in the office.
Yeah.
Like, that's her whole role. Yeah, you're the ugly girl in the office, Martha. But you know what? She plays it for at least four seasons.
I just saw the episode last night. I think it's episode 4. So I'm not deep on it. Season 1, where he consummates the relationship.
Yes. And Martha is a very nice lady. But, I mean, like, the whole role is you're the ugly girl in the office.
Yeah.
And he's gonna pretend he's married to you.
She actually, I'm going to tell you, somebody you know that kind of looks like Martha.
Okay.
I'm not going to do it on the air.
Okay.
Especially after you setting that up.
After I just said she's playing the ugly person. There's actually, no, I'm not going to say that.
And I can say it because Dunaway's not here because he would run and tell her. Because he knows her too.
Wow, we are narrowing that down. This hour presented by Champy's, world famous fried chicken, champyschicken.com. You want to go grab a good lunch? Go see Sterling, our guy right there at Champy's, Highway 119 in Alabaster. The great chicken fingers, the great sides, the po' boys, the Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, champyschicken.com. That is champyschicken.com. The Floribama Lounge is next. Rockstar will come in here and sing us a song. Sing you to the weekend next on the next round.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
There is no better place to watch your favorite sporting events and enjoy great food than one of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons. The TVs are everywhere with your favorite sports, and the menu is second to none. From the great appetizers like the waffle cheese fries to the Avery Island salad, handhelds like the all-new chicken bomber, bistro specialties with a special taste of the bayou, the amazing hand-patty burgers, the great po' boys, and the specialty drinks. Visit any of the 3 great Birmingham locations of Walk-Ons: Greystone, Stadium Trace and Hoover, and the brand new location in Trussville.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
A legendary coach once said, "It's not the will to win that matters. It is the will to prepare to win." Hi, I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryant Bank, and I can tell you that our Bryant bankers have the dedication and experience to put together a financial game plan that is right for you. At Bryant Bank, we specialize in community banking and offer personal and business loans, checking and savings account, mobile banking, and treasury management services. Stop by one of our 18 offices across the state of Alabama to find out what unbeatable service and legendary results are all about.
Take TNR on the go with a podcast built for your satisfaction. Miss Hour 1, find it in podcast form. Miss Hour 2, stream it now. Miss Hour 3, download it for later. Miss Hour 4, well, just know it's never coming back. Listen to TNR wherever you find podcasts.
Our friends at Longius Furniture believe in getting more style for less. Longius offers a great selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, dining room, home office, and entertainment room, helping you elevate your home design and decor. Longius offers everything from vibrant outdoor furniture to breezy home accents. Everything you need to create your own sunshine sanctuary. Right now, you can save up to 10% store-wide, receive $300 in Longius sleep credits with select mattress purchases, and access special financing on tons of hot buys. Take exit 280 off the I-65 Hallmark Farms exit today to see what Longius has to offer you.
Are you tired of buying your CPAP mask and supplies online only to be disappointed? It's time to visit CPAP Plus, your locally owned and operated CPAP shop that prides itself on personal service. Come see what you're buying at CPAP Plus with 3 convenient locations in Pelham, Highway 280, and now open in Trussville. Drop by for a free CPAP checkup and free filters, no appointment needed. Plus, sign up for their giveaway for a chance to win a free travel CPAP machine. Just Google CPAP Plus or visit any of those 3 locations.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
All right, Rockstar is going to play us to the weekend in a moment. A reminder again about Hemp Hill Services. If it's not running right, training right, flowing right, Hemp Hill is the one that can come save the day like they did for me and they've done for so many of you. Hemp Hill Services, whether it is commercial or residential, 229-2090, 229-2090 for Hemp Hill Services. And look, it's that time of year where that AC is going to go out, and you make sure you got Hemp Hill's number ready to go. They will get out there as quick as they can. I called them, and they were like, we can either do right now or this afternoon. I'm like, that's pretty good service for you to say, we can do it right now. Yeah. You don't get that a lot.
And, you know, the fortunate thing, though, and you would absolutely hate how they insulated my house. Whoever built my house. No. Yeah. Whoever built the house back in, I think it was 06, 07.
Right.
But every room outside of the master bedroom, if it's cold, the master bedroom is freezing. If it's hot, the master bedroom is hot. So we decided just to close all of the vents in the main rooms. And so now the master bedroom is the one that's cold and everything else is hot.
You've got a balancing act, don't you?
Yeah, really do.
But
they are the best in the business. The name Birmingham has trusted since 1950.
That's right. Hemp Hill Services is the one you need to call. All right. Welcome in, Rockstar.
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
David Koechner was fantastic, wasn't he?
He was. He's great. He's a super nice guy, too. So, like, rarely do people say I can stay as long as you want, and I think he kind of meant it. I think Tony wanted to go home.
Yeah, Tony was that the wrap up when he walked
Tony
in?
Was like, how long is this segment? And I was like, I think we're about to end it.
But you know, I mean, he's one of those guys, David, that likes to entertain, and now he'll just go back and sit in his hotel room.
Yeah, I think he's more of a people person. Like, I like to be talking. I don't want to be alone.
Yeah, I think when you see people like that, I think people that are watching always wonder, are they nice off camera? And not everyone is. I mean, that's what Lance mentioned. He was, though,
one of the nicest guys that we have actually had. And his philosophy was, you're going to be known as something. You might as well be known as a nice guy.
Exactly.
But he did say, if you're going to be a dick, embrace it.
Yeah. He said somebody's going to know it, right? All right, Rockstar. Floribama, first of all, brings you the lounge. Rockstar has been playing a lot of Jimmy Buffett. He's going to veer away from that right now. You can probably hear some Jimmy Buffett down at the Floribama, though.
Hey, how about this? Floribama's Bulls on the Beach. My buddy Chief went last year, said it was incredible. Get your tickets early because Bulls on the Beach is one of the Floribama's most anticipated events of the year. Bring the family out to experience the ultimate adrenaline rush. 3 nights of live rodeo action featuring professional bull riders from all over the country. As always, with our friends at Floribama, a portion of the proceeds always go to charity. From this event, it's going to go to the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, September 5th through the 7th. They're halfway sold out. They're going to sell out. They sell out every year. Tickets on sale now. Go to floribama.com. That's floribama.com.
All right, Rockstar. So Jimmy Buffett tour is still going. It's been going well. You've developed a little bit more respect for his music.
It's still really hard on me. That's a lot of music that I've never heard before that I've tried to fully embrace and learn in the past couple months. So, which inspires me today. When you guys were going on the beach, when it was just Dunaway in here, I teased this song. I said that this was when Nancy was pregnant with Cord in the delivery room. I had a push playlist, and it was stuff that she'd never heard before. And I played this song, and she started crying. It was upsetting, but she really liked the song because I guess the meaning behind it, she had no idea what it was. And being my age and going through all this stuff with Jimmy Buffett, where it's just been very stressful on me because it's a lot of learning with a toddler, trying to get every 2 minutes you can to learn a song. And being so tired all the time that I don't sleep, got up at 3 a.m. with Cord this morning. We have decided, or Nancy has decided, she is with child again.
Whoa. Time out. Before you just dive into a dang song.
Well, I sent y'all the video. Nobody responded to it.
I know you're super excited about this.
I am. It's just, we're already here with one. But yes, this was a mutual decision. I was more on the
One and done?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're old,
Yeah.
and this is going to be an interesting go at
Yeah,
it.
no,
So-
that's great. I mean, it is a young man's game. But here's the good news. Like, Cord is an awesome kid, but he's a handful. I think you could say that.
He's learning, but we get notes every day from school about him pushing and like he's the bully.
Yeah.
But
The way it usually works, you get one that's kind of that outgoing personality.
You never know.
And then you get one that's kind of like you, maybe a little introverted, at least as a kid.
Well, I was also a mama's boy. Like I was one that didn't want to leave anywhere. But it's going to be interesting. Yeah, so it's really exciting. So,
Well, I mean, I will say this. I don't know if Lance would agree with this, but what was a big deal for the first one, the second one is just not really that big a deal. And by that, I mean, like the first one.
Being able to handle them.
Yeah, the first one falls, and you're like, oh my God. The second one falls, you're like, hey, get up.
Yeah.
You're good.
No, I think Nancy will be just the same.
There
with this
is,
one.
and I've said this the older I get, like, we were going to be one and done with Leighton. Jack was kind of a surprise. And obviously just incredible.
Yeah.
Can't imagine life without. But the older I get, the more like that stage, and I just think guys, it's difficult for guys to really be able to relate to a kid that is that young. But the older you get, the more you have, I think, is better. Like I'd love to have. I'm not going to go Greg from Pell City here.
He's got 10.
Yeah, but I'd love to have 4.
Well, I was just thinking about this. Saying this is pretty much saying that Bethany is pregnant again. Bethany's going to have another child.
My ex-wife, by the way, mother of my great kids.
She has been a life to her and Leighton and Jack and Jace and Gamma. Like they have been a lifesaver to us, helping with Cord and everything when we have to have help. So this is something by a collective soul.
Does Bethany know, by the way, and Leighton?
Yes, she is. This is 9 weeks right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll find out gender soon.
Well, that's another thing we're debating. We could go old-fashioned and just wait.
Just wait till day of.
Yeah. So we're debating that too. So
hey, by the
I get
way,
to meet the father next week. It's going to be so weird. She said if I don't blow up,
do you know anything about him?
He's a nice guy.
I don't. I know we have something in common.
My wife was out the other day with my oldest, Anna Kate, and they ran into somebody wearing a Next Round shirt, and she goes, "I like the shirt. My husband's Ryan Brown." He goes, "Oh, I'm Greg from Pell City's son-in-law." And my wife was retelling the story. She goes, he either said son or son-in-law.
Yeah, don't even try to figure it out.
He's got an army.
I said, don't worry, Greg doesn't know either. He said,
Can you imagine him on 23andMe?
86 and 2.
Yes. All right, Rockstar, we've delayed long enough. So Rockstar is going to be a dad times 2, and this is the song that came to mind. Is that pretty much the moral of the story?
Well,
here?
this is her push song for Cord, and like this is what immediately brought me up. Like here we go again. But this
Here we
is
go
called
again.
Adored by Collective Soul. I can see this life is much better today. Everything turns right and wrong gets in the way. Yeah, I got this feeling, it's something I find hard to explain. See, girl, I wasn't looking, but girl, I'm glad I fell in your way. Then she says, oh boy, count your lucky stars, count what you've been wishing for. Oh boy, count how you are now adored. I can see the sun burns much brighter today. I can see my path of clouds darken my way. So yeah, I got this feeling, it's something I find hard to explain. See, I wasn't looking, but girl, I'm glad I fell in your way. Then she says, oh boy, count your lucky stars, count what you've been wishing for. Oh boy, count the life you lead, count that you are now adored. She says she's tired of watching me just wilt and bleed.
I'm like Jesus. I see those who do believe. Do you believe? 'Cause yeah, God is great. Yeah, God is good. Yeah. What if God was one of us? Just a slum like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus, trying to make his way home. Girl, I got this feeling, and something I find strange. See, I wasn't looking, but girl, I'm glad I fell in your way. Then she said, oh boy, count your likely stars, count what you've been wishing for. Oh boy, count this life you lead, count that you are now adore.
Wow. Great job and congratulations, Rockstar.
thank you. Yeah, that's awesome, man.
Dad times two.
I didn't know if it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Neither did I. We had a plan, but I think by December we had to stop because she is. We're at the advanced age, both of us, and doctors have suggest like, hey, at this time, this is when you got to stop.
Yeah.
So
I'll ask the uncomfortable question Buddy has asked. Are we certain it's just one? Could this be twins? Do we know yet?
we drive the heartbeat. We did. We're 9 weeks in.
Okay, so you know it's just one.
I hope it's triplets.
That would be
Oh my
amazing.
God.
We'll never see Rockstar again.
Finally got my band.
Florida Bama brought you the lounge. Teach them to play the drums.
Bulls on the Beach is coming September 5th through the 7th. They're already halfway sold out. They sell out every single year. If you want to see that 3 nights adrenaline rush, live rodeo action featuring professional bull riders from all over the country, portion of the proceeds from this event will go to the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Go to florabama.com/bulls on the beach and make sure you get in all weekend long. Best bar out there, the Florida Bama.
Thank you, Rockstar. Thank you to Todd Furhman, Tom Luginbill, David Koechner for being with us on the show. It was a fun one. We will do it all again Monday. Please give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Share us, like us, everywhere you watch us. Follow us at Next Round Live on all social media. Subscribe, set your alerts on YouTube. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday on the Next Round.